It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland. All right, so over the weekend, the Tigers take 3 of 4 with the Twins. Obviously not the best game yesterday, losing that one in big fashion. But I think overall the weekend is a W. And I would say the big reason the weekend was a success was because of the late game bullpen success. To open things up on Thursday, we got a good performance from Rafael Montero. Will Vest has looked really good since converting to this kind of setup role. Does still get some appearances in the ninth inning, of course. But the big thing is, man, how good Kyle Finnegan has been since getting in a Tigers uniform. Since trading for him on July 31st, he's made 7 appearances, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs with just 2 hits allowed, 10 Ks to just 1 walk and 4 saves. Kyle Finnegan has straight up been one of the best relievers in baseball since the start of August. I understand that we were upset with the way that the Tigers didn't approach the deadline super aggressively, but look, it's another one of these Scott Harris trades that you can look at and be like, yeah, this was a major W. Kyle Finnegan has been awesome for this Tigers bullpen, and the 1-2 combo of him and Vest is a duo that you trust in a playoff game late. Now, obviously, the middle guys leading up to those two is the part where you maybe are a little bit nervous. But at the end of the day, late in a game, crunch time, Kyle Finnegan seems like he is going to be very tough for hitters to go up against in the playoffs. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland.
Transform your outdoor space with Maple Hill Nursery. Whether you're a gardening enthusiast or just looking to relax in style, they have everything you need. From premium polywood furniture that never needs painting to top-quality plants and trees, Maple Hill Nursery has it all. Plus, they offer free setup and delivery on in-stock barbecue grills. Visit them today just north of Midland Mall or check out their website for pro tips and expert advice. Maple Hill Nursery, making your yard the place to be.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them. On Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show. Happy Monday to everyone out there in the Great Lakes Bay region. Happy Monday to everyone watching out there on YouTube and Facebook as well. We're ready to rock and roll. We've got a lot to discuss today. Lions preseason, a series win against the Minnesota Twins for the Detroit Tigers. A lot to get to. I want to rehash some of the Michigan stuff. I wasn't here Friday. I've got a lot of thoughts on that punishment that was handed out for the University of Michigan's football program. Here's a hint. If you think that this title, the title that they won 2 years ago in 23 is tainted, let's just say we're going to agree to disagree. That's coming up a little bit later on the show. We've got a Lions rookie that is just stealing headlines. I've got a lot to say about him as well. But let's start things out right with the Detroit Tigers. By the way, we'll get to our stock exchange as well. One of my favorite things about the show every Monday. This Detroit Tigers team Yesterday, they have a chance to sweep the Minnesota Twins, who since the deadline, one of the worst teams in baseball, one of the worst rosters in baseball. And heading into yesterday's game, the Tigers were quietly one of the hottest teams in baseball, winning 7 of their last 9 games. Let's get one thing out of the way. You win 3 of 4 against anybody in the league, and that's a good thing. You know what else is a good thing is Vest and Finnegan are actually and actively transforming this Tigers bullpen into something that's not total garbage. More on that in just a second. But when you have a chance to sweep a season series, or sweep a weekend series, I should say, and Chris Paddack, of all people, runs out there to take the mound, a.k.a. the new Kenta Maeda, and he gives up his 4th, 5th, and 6th home runs as a Detroit Tigers in just 4 games, by the way. Instead of getting a sweep, it feels like you get the rug swept out from under your feet. Just as you're about to climb the mountaintop and reclaim your spot as the best team in the American League, you get out of the weekend with a sweep, you fall right back down. And again, let's get one thing out of the way. You take 3 of 4 against anybody and you'll take it. It's just when you lose that last game of a series, it's just a little bit of a punch to the gut, especially considering when Chris Paddack is out there, it feels like an automatic loss. Well, that you can't say that, Ben. The Tigers are 2-2 when he pitches. So in the grand scheme of things, 2-2, that's not too bad, especially considering the guy who's on the mound tonight, Jack Flaherty, is 6-12 this season. But I'm sorry, I cannot continue to watch Chris Paddack give up home run after home run after home run after home run and not say anything on this show. He does not generate swing and miss. Bottom 15 percentile in the league. He gets smashed. 45% hard hit percentage. Now, the offense could have helped him out yesterday. Sure. But that's not really the point. The point is, when Chris Paddack is out there, it feels like the Tigers are going to lose. And there are other options available other than Chris Paddack. The problem is what we have joked around about the last 2 weeks of Scott Harris wanting to be right more than wanting the Tigers to win is playing into factor here. Because believe it or not, the most expensive acquisition at the trade deadline was not Kyle Finnegan. It was Chris Paddack. He was the most expensive guy when it comes to what you gave up that the Tigers acquired at the deadline. The 14th overall prospect is what it took to get Chris Paddack, who, again, I don't want in the rotation anymore. And I hope I can speak on behalf of all Tigers fans when I say that, because it's like when Kenta Maeda was out there, you're just inevitably waiting for the home runs to come. There are other options available right now for the Tigers. Option number 1, Troy Melton. Now, I get it. You want to protect the young arm. You want to preserve him. Melton, for his professional career, when you take into consideration all minor league levels, his career high in innings pitched in a season is 100. He's already at 98 this year when you take his major and minor appearances combined. So I get it. Preserve the arm. You can't afford a third arm going down at some point this season. Wishing a speedy recovery to Jackson Jobe and Reese Olson. So fine. He's not the only option. Keider Montero. Well, if you're going to have a guy that stinks on the mound, at least have a younger person that came through your farm system that you at least can convince yourself has a little bit of upside. Because you know what Chris Paddack is at this point in his career. Home run machine. Option number 3. Sawyer Gipson-Long. Generates more swing and miss, doesn't really walk anyone, and doesn't get hit as hard. Granted, limited appearances so far this season. Option number 4. The thing that got you into the playoffs last season. Pitching by chaos. A bullpen day. Last Wednesday against the White Sox, Melton opens the game. Gipson-Long comes in relief. Kyle Finnegan, Will Vest close things out. I get it. It's the White Sox. It's a crappy offense. But those 4 guys in a bullpen day did exactly what you need your bullpen to do against a crappy offense. They shut them down. 2 hits the entire day. That seems a hell of a lot better than letting Chris Paddack go out there and ruin a weekend sweep. Because the back end of the bullpen, like I mentioned at the top, has been transformative with Kyle Finnegan and Will Vest. Since the deadline, those two guys have a 1.26 combined ERA, just 2 walks and 19 strikeouts, 6 saves. But you have to give them a chance to pitch and save a game. And when Chris Paddack is out there, it doesn't feel like they're going to even have the opportunity to do it, because by the time the 3rd inning comes around, he's already given up a grand slam. Look, I know once the playoffs roll around, the rotation is going to shrink to 4 guys anyway. So I'm sitting here telling you something that's a problem right now that won't necessarily be a problem in the postseason. But I'm sorry, me as a Tigers fan cannot sit here every 5 days and watch this guy give up bomb after bomb after bomb. I can't do it. I refuse to do it. It feels like the Tigers once every 5 days are saying, we're just going to preserve the bullpen. We're going to let this guy throw, eat innings. We'll take our series loss because you know what? We're already in the playoffs. Cleveland's losing. No one's threatening to take the division. We'll just sign up for these losses. And Scott Harris, on the other hand, is saying, well, you have to pitch him. We gave up our 14th overall prospect for him. What'd the Tigers give up for Finnegan? 15. So was the Finnegan trade a great deal, or was the Paddack trade a horrible deal? Yes and yes. Again, Chris Paddack won't be in the rotation come October when the Tigers are in the postseason. But right now, Scott Harris and A.J. Hinch need to cut their losses from the deadline. That was a horrendous trade to bring in Chris Paddack, especially considering what it costs. I am raising my hand and saying and asking, get this guy out of the rotation. Who's with me? 989-837-6125. Want to get your thoughts on this. I know it's a minor thing. I know it's a minor thing coming out of a weekend in which we had a Lions game, in which we, as Tigers fans, won 3 of 4 games against the Twins this weekend. But I'm sorry, if that's how the weekend series is going to end, it's going to leave a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, considering, yes, you win the season series versus the Twins, but your run differential was only +1. I mean, the Twins lit up the Tigers every time that they beat the Tigers this year. And yesterday was no different. Chris Paddack comes in, ruins the game almost immediately. It gets out of the first inning, but then second and third just gives up 3 home runs, and it feels like it's over before it even starts. Yes, the offense could have been a lot better, but that wasn't really the panic or the worry yesterday. We know that this Tigers offense is up and down, and some days they show up and some days they don't, and we just have to live with that. What we don't have to live with is Chris Paddack being out there every 5 days, knowing that there are other options available. I listed out 4. Troy Melton, Sawyer Gibson-Long, Kiter Montero, or a combination of all those guys in bullpen days. Yes, the bullpen has not been great so far this season, but big picture-wise, bullpen ERA was bad. Now it is just kind of bad. Because the guys on the back end in Finnegan and Vest, who, by the way, need a nickname, got to figure that out, have been excellent and brought the total bullpen ERA down to 17th, whereas for the most part throughout the season, they've ranked somewhere near 25th. Those 2 guys have been electric. But you got to give them a chance to save the game and close the game in close games. And when Chris Paddack is out there, it feels like that is just simply not going to happen. 989-837-6125. Do you agree with me that this is one of the worst trades that Scott Harris has made? There's been a good amount of bad ones, and he cannot be in this lineup anymore. I'm sorry, cut ties. I know it costs you a pretty big resource in the number 14th overall prospect, considering who's running this team, some guy who hoards every prospect that he has, but I can't watch him anymore. Sorry. 989-837-6125. We'll get to a Lions rookie in a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on this situation, though, so go ahead and text into our Mitt messages. One more time, 989-837-6125. Drop a comment in the YouTube section as well. Hit that like and subscribe button if you are so kind. Help get this content out to other Detroit Tigers fans and Lions fans and just sports fans and freaks and sickos like you guys across the state of Michigan. Helps us grow this content, helps the show grow as well. So if you could just take 1 second, it just takes 1 second. Hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube if that's the way you're watching. If you're listening in your car, head to the YouTube when you're done. Hit the like and subscribe button. And we'd appreciate it here at the Ben Bosscher Show up in the Blaze the Electric Studio in Dow Diamond in Midland, Michigan. One more time, 989-837-6125. We'll get your thoughts on the Chris Paddack situation and the Tigers series win against the Twins when we come back. Before we go, I got to tell you about our friends at Ace Hardware and Sports, locally owned and proudly family operated right here in the heart of Midland. Take advantage of $3 off Ortho Weed Killer, proven power to take your yard back. Or go bigger with $10 off Spruce Weed and Grass Killer, tough on the weeds, easy on your wallet. Visit them on East Main Street in downtown Midland, right where local service meets big-time savings, supporting your yard and your community all in one stop. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. I'm Ben Bosscher. Kyle Sandel behind the glass today, right here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Isaiah, let's play some word association.
I'm ready.
Spring,
Repairs.
wind,
Roofing.
rain,
Gutters.
leak.
Buckley Satinberry Repair.
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
No, son. Who do you call?
Buckley Satinberry Repair.
That's right. Don't wait until spring. Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
Tired of floors that snore? Walls that whisper, meh. Premier Tile in Midland is here to spice things up one tile at a time. They've got backsplash that'll make your pasta jealous.
What?
Shower walls that'll actually sing in the morning. And floors so fabulous, you'll consider eating dinner off them. Stylish, affordable, slightly obsessed with grout. Visit Premier Tile, located between Stark and Sturgeon, right off US 10, or at PremierTileStone.com.
I'm here with Matt Smith with Modern Realty. All right, Matt, forecast 2025 for us.
Well, in 2025, I believe you're going to see a much more balanced market. We've been in a seller's market for a number of years. We're still not busting at the seams with inventory, but we are seeing the market start to balance out a little bit. That means it's still a really good time to get great value out of your home. But for the buyers out there, it also means that your path to home ownership should be a little bit easier.
At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). Look, there's a lot to take away from this weekend. I think the Tigers are, even with yesterday's loss, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Feels good that they're back in that department compared to where they were at the beginning of the second half of the season when they were one of the worst teams in baseball for a couple of weeks. But I'm sorry, Kyle. I have to get this off my chest. I can't watch Chris Paddack anymore. It's only been 4 starts, and he's been fine against the non-Minnesota teams that he's played. But when he's gone up against his former team, he's been a home run machine, and that has kind of been the story of this season and most of his career. He's top 10 in allowed home runs this season. I'm all good. Like, there are other options, and I think Scott Harris and A.J. Hinch need to cut their losses here. You know, they gave up a 14th overall prospect, which I don't think is anything of, like, true value. It's just ironic considering who's running this team. Someone who's been so stingy when it comes to giving up the prospects and who refused to give up a top 10 one. Well, the highest prospect you gave up was for a bad pitcher who has been a net negative so far for the Tigers in Chris Paddack. And I'm all done watching him. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the fact that there's just other options that are more intriguing and probably give the Tigers a higher ceiling as far as, like, no matter what, Chris Paddack is not starting a playoff game, right?
I would sure hope not.
Whereas a Troy Melton, I think, can give you that opportunity if he continues to really heat up the rest of the season if you do give him that starting spot. Now, like you said, I do understand preserving Troy Melton and not wanting him to take on too large of a role in this rookie season that the Tigers have already seen their star young pitcher, Jackson Jobe, go down, and Reese Olson, who's another promising young guy. So I understand those factors. I do think, though, you do kind of gloss over the 2 games against not the Twins. He's been fine. Like, he's been a fine 5th starter. So I think it is kind of odd that the 2 blow-up starts he's had has come against the Twins, his former team that he pitched on for several seasons, both times.
But the team itself, the roster itself, is completely different from what it was when he was there. Like,
right.
It's not the same team.
It is not the same team, but, like, at some point we do have to realize, like, this Twins offense has been a lot better than expected post-trade deadline. Like, it's not just, like, we can't – I understand saying, like, yeah, there is nobodies on this team. There are nobodies that are hitting the ball well. You know? Like, it is kind of – at some point it is a good enough sample to say, yeah, this team actually, like, isn't as bad as we thought they were going to be post-deadline. I'm not, like, giving excuses for Chris Paddack giving up 8 earned yesterday. That's definitely not what I'm doing here.
And 3 bombs.
Right.
Which is the most detrimental part to this.
He's given up 14 runs in 4 games as a Tiger. Like, I think the big part is we've talked about exploring different options out of the bullpen for the Tigers, and Jack Flaherty's been a guy that you've tossed around all year. But it's much easier for the Tigers to do that with Chris Paddack. A guy that you really don't have that much connections to. He's a rental. He's not going to be on this team next year. What is the harm in making that guy your bulk inning guy out of the pen, your middle reliever, your long opener even on some days? Like, you don't have to go full bullpen day, but you can just make Chris Paddack a part of the bullpen day, a part of the pitching by chaos day.
Exactly what they did with Troy Melton last Wednesday against the White Sox.
Correct.
Give us 4 great innings and we'll take care of the rest, man.
Yeah. I don't understand why you can't do that with Chris Paddack. I understand why you can't do it with Jack Flaherty. I get the optics behind that and the contract and the commitment you made to him and all that stuff. With Chris Paddack, there's none of that there. Yeah, you gave up the 14th overall prospect, sure, I guess. Like, if that's holding you back, then, man, that's ridiculous, you know? So I'm with you on the fact that, look, there's just other options that are more intriguing. Even a Kaiser Montero, I know he gives up the long ball a ton. That's, like, his number one issue. But he has that upside. And we've seen good outings from him, and we've seen good stretches from him as a Tiger. So at least give him the chance to come up and pitch. We discussed the Sawyer Gipson-Long thing last week, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter just saying, well, it's not that big of a deal. Twins have a ton of lefties. They wanted to bring up Bailey Horn to have that lefty there. Gipson-Long wasn't going to pitch. The dude threw 17 pitches on Thursday or on Wednesday. Like, what, you can't find a time for him to pitch all weekend? Right. You could have pitched Chris Paddack 3 innings yesterday. Not going well. And then Gipson-Long comes in and gets the bulk of it. And maybe he gives your offense a chance to come back. You know, it's stuff like that is frustrating with the moves up and down-wise from Hinch and Harris, whoever's making those authority picks.
Yeah, and Hinch had a couple nice quotes over the weekend of, like, we're taking this one game at a time, one series at a time in terms of who we think can help this team.
Which is totally understandable, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of transactions between AAA and the majors and them managing the bullpen and who's on the roster, which is fine, but it's kind of hard to believe that they sent Sawyer Gipson-Long back down after how awesome he was in those 17 pitches on Wednesday against the Sox. Because that was someone who, when they made their season debut way back, in May? June? Whenever that ended up being, we were all intrigued by that. It's not like he's been a disaster when he's out there. He's been fine.
Yeah, totally.
And the big thing from this weekend is, like, all right, now there's a big enough sample size to know, as much as the bullpen has been a clown show for the most part this season, the Vest and Finnegan duo is real. If you can get to the 9th inning or the 8th inning with a lead, or it be a tie game or a one-run game in any way, whether you're up or you're down, you feel pretty confident in these guys. It's just a matter of between the starter or if the starter does end up having a blow-up start, because there are a couple guys in this rotation that are certainly capable of the blow-up starts, really anybody not named Tarek Skubal. But once you get to the 8th or 9th inning and it's close, you're in a one-run game, you feel great about those two guys. They've been nothing but dominant so far as the number 1 and number 2 guys on the back end of the bullpen. And the best part is they don't care who that 9th guy is. There is not going to be a certain 9th inning guy and an 8th inning guy like there was earlier this year with Canely being that 8th inning guy. There's no setup. It's going to be based on feel, and A.J. Hinch is going to have to make a decision. So far, he's made all the right decisions on who comes in first, who ends up closing out the game. But those two guys between Vest and Finnegan, I don't know if I don't need to go out on a limb and say like one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball for the back end of the bullpen, but over the past couple of weeks since the trade deadline, they certainly have been. This has been something real to point to of, hey, as much as we've clowned the bullpen, the back end guys have been really good since the trade deadline, since this duo has gotten put together, and there seems to be a lot of selflessness going on. They just want to win. Whoever ends up being the first guy or the second guy, it doesn't matter to them. It's just a matter of getting to the 8th and 9th inning with it being a close game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that you really get excited about when you put it in a playoff context, as far as these two guys coming in late in games. Tigers have been really good in one-run games this season. They're 19-8. I think that's a pretty important factor in this, is those guys at the end of the game. Like you said, you get in the 8th, 9th inning. One, the Tigers' offense randomly is clutch late in games this year, like a ton of guys are. And two, you trust those pitchers to shut things down. So I think those two things combined, it's the part getting there before that you're worried about as far as innings 6 and 7, when a starter can only go 5 or 6, exactly. So I'm very impressed with what Kyle Finnegan has done. And for as much of we're talking about the bad move at the deadline from Harris getting Chris Paddack, right? I mean, look at all the big names that we wanted the Tigers to go get reliever-wise. Yeah, they could have gotten Finnegan plus. I understand that. But Kyle Finnegan's been better than any of those guys that have been acquired at the deadline.
Right.
All of them. Like, he has pitched the most. He has the most unearned innings pitched from the relievers that have been traded so far, out of any of them.
Yes, but I also think if Bednar or Housley ends up with Chris Fetter, it's a totally different circumstance.
I understand that. Like, and I think the argument could be made, well, you could have gotten Finnegan plus one of those guys, and then all of a sudden you have 3 really good guys at the end. I understand
right,
that.
And if you pair them with Chris Paddack or with Chris Fetter rather than throwing them in Yankee Stadium, which I think is just a hard place to pitch,
right?
Bednar probably has different results.
Understandable, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers. And Kyle Finnegan has been absolutely a stud ever since he's been in the Tigers uniform. And him combined with that Vest duo, you feel really good about it.
They need a nickname. I've been trying to think about something.
Well, you already got Bulletproof Vest, which is awesome.
But how do you? I don't know.
Fitting in a bulletproof vest.
All right. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't like that.
989-837-6125. This one's from Darren. No, Mr. Sandal. He's talking about you. Paddack is not a good 5th starter. He is a hot can of sardines. He's trash, and you're trash for saying he's a fine number 5 starter. Come on, it's a Monday. It's a Monday.
I also didn't say he was I said the 2 games that he's pitched against the non-Twins teams, he's been a fine 5th starter. Mm-hmm. That being each game where he's given up 1 earned through 5 innings pitched.
Right.
That's a fine 5th starter. In general, yes, I agree he's not, but I'm just saying.
One against the White Sox, one against an Arizona team that had just sold everything or was on the verge of doing everything. I'm not saying those games don't count because they were against bad teams, but I would like to see him have a quality start. He hasn't really pitched against a good team yet.
No.
In his 4 outings. It's been Minnesota twice, the White Sox, and Arizona.
Right. So
what does it look like when it's against the team that does end up hitting a lot of home runs?
Well, there's a reason why he's not pitching against those teams, that's for sure.
Yes. Let's go here. This one is from Kyle, I believe. I'm so sick of... Not you. I'm so sick and tired of Hinch ruining Tigers' momentum by allowing Paddack to continue to pitch and breaking winning streaks. We can't have Flaherty and Paddack both doing this. Well, Flaherty's not back on the mound tonight against an Astros team. Hey, remember at the very beginning of the month when I was like, there's only 2 series that really matter the rest of August? And that would have been this series against the Astros and what was it, the Rangers?
The Phillies.
The Phillies earlier this month. Thank you, drew a blank. This is a huge series because they lost that Phillies series. So next 3 days against Houston, Flaherty on the bump to open things out. I mean, I don't love that. The pitching record, I know some people despise it. It doesn't really reflect how good a pitcher is, but hey, the big enough sample size. The Tigers don't really win all that much when Jack Flaherty's on the mound. They're 6-12 so far this season, or he's 6-12 record-wise when he's the starting pitcher. So, look, I'm not saying, hey, they're going to lose game 1 tonight, but you don't feel great about that. And this is a huge series. Like, they have to show up. They can't lose both of their series. There's only 2 series this month against playoff teams, against good teams. They can't lose both of those and me feel better about the Tigers from what I did, a month ago, right? So this is a huge series tonight. And with Flaherty on the bump for the first game, I don't love it. Say that.
Yeah, they're 7-18 in Jack Flaherty starts this season.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
That's worse than that's worse than I would have imagined. Dwayne from Bay City says Tigers offense was nothing against minor league pitching this weekend, and Paddack can never start again. Hinch needs to stop punishing us by letting him go out there. Is this a Hinch thing, though, or is this a Harris thing, being like, I gave up a valuable prospect, which, if you want, like, whether or not you consider Enrique Jimenez valuable, I think is totally up to you. But he certainly was to Scott Harris, and for Scott Harris to give up that level of a prospect, again, it's not a top 10 guy, but with how stingy Scott Harris has been at the deadline by giving up these prospects, for that to be the highest ranked prospect you gave up for a pitcher who's not been A+, it's just like the irony behind that, I think, is something. So maybe he's kind of in Hinch's ear, like, yeah, man, this guy's got to be in the rotation. We've got to see this guy play out before we give up on him.
Yeah, I think they believe in him too, though, right?
They believe in all their guys. There's not a lot of guys other than Canely that they've just straight up given up on.
True.
Over the past 2 years. Canely is like
Maeda,
an anomaly.
Yeah,
and
he was
Maeda.
one of them. But how much longer does it take until they do, That's the thing with Paddack is like, I'm interested as what is the leash for a guy like him when there is these other options to come out and pitch. I imagine it can't be very long just because you're not committed to him long term by any means, and those other young guys you are.
That's the thing with Hinch. Again, supercomputer brain. I'm never going to criticize too hard the pinch hitting he does. I know a lot of people don't like when Kerry Carpenter gets taken out of the game, and I don't like it when it's in the 4th or 5th inning when he's going to, like, whoever's in that spot has
this
another
weekend,
at-bat.
his pinch hitting was tremendous, by the way. Jahmai Jones had that big one on Saturday. Like
Hinch's pinch hitting is ridiculous 90% of the time.
Right.
He's right way more often than he's wrong, which is why I have a hard time sitting here and picking apart some of the stuff he does. But if there is one thing that I don't like that Hinch does, it feels like he lets his guys stay out there too long on the mound. They're starting to slip, and rather than getting ahead and saying, hey, we're going to switch guys here, go to the pen, he lets them go out there and try to resolve it himself, and sometimes he waits a little bit too long. I think Flaherty's a really good example of that, and by the time he goes and makes the move, the runs have already been given up.
Right, but the issue is you're bringing him out for Brant Herter.
Yeah, it's like a stuck between a rock and a hard place situation. 989-837-6125. We'll get to some more Mitt messages in a little bit. We'll hit the news when we come back, and then it's time for our first edition, the Stock Market Exchange. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt on a Monday here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Loons on the road in Appleton, Wisconsin took 4 of 6 off the Timber Rattlers this series win, and now half game back of a playoff spot. Kendall Georgia quite a week, 14 stolen bases, setting a new franchise record for most steals in a single series in Loons history, and he also got it done at the plate, including on Sunday where he drove in 2 in a 5-3 win, including a ribby triple as Flores with a 1-0 pitch. George swings, fluttering into left center field, and that is down for a hit. Rodriguez will hit third. He will score. George hits second. Throw cut off by Mate. Throw to third is wide. Hits off the Loons dugout. Bounces into the dugout. So George will come home. Great Lakes takes 2 here in the 8th. It's 5-3. Loons continue the road trip against Quad Cities. We talk to you from Davenport, Iowa on Tuesday, 7:30 first pitch.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon. the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
Something I definitely do.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important, and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Minute. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that, if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Welcome back in. Happy Monday here on the Ben Bosscher Show. I think it's time to hit the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Okay, let's hop into a full-on slate of weekend news, Ben. Starting off, you just mentioned it, but Tigers-Astros kick off a 3-game series tonight. Pretty important series as far as standings go across the American League. Jack Flaherty versus Spencer Arrighetti tonight. Tomorrow night is the big pitching matchup. Tarek Skubal versus Hunter Brown tomorrow night. But tonight, 6:40 is the first pitch.
I want to fast forward to tomorrow night. Two of the best pitchers in the American League, and Skubal's following up probably his worst start of the year. So see if he can come back with vengeance on his mind.
I would say the Angels one was his worst start of the year. I honestly thought one
of his two worst starts
I was pretty impressed by his start on Thursday, honestly. Because that is a start we have not seen. The fact that he went 7 innings after the way that things started, he was like 55 pitches through 3.
Yeah, and like multiple 4-pitch walks, which was like, you think you're seeing ghosts.
He only struck out 3 guys. He retired the final 10 batters, 13 of the last 14. Like, I thought I was very impressed by that specific start from him because we don't really see that from him very often. But anyways, Tigers-Astros tonight. We'll give a quick standings update across baseball as well since we've had a couple days before giving you an update. The Astros lead the Mariners by a game and a half, in the American League West. Tigers obviously still have 8.5 games over Cleveland, but they've lost 3 straight, and the Kansas City Royals have won 3 straight. They're a half game back of Cleveland right now, so they're in a threat for second place. The Blue Jays still well into a lead in the American League East, so as far as wild card standings go in the American League, Blue Jays still The Red Sox lead things. Mariners right there, and the Yankees a half game back, with Cleveland 3.5 games back of those three teams. So Red Sox, Mariners, Yankees kind of locked into the wild card spots in the AL right now.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Mariners could easily flip to being a division leader,
right.
and then it's the Astros. But yeah, it's hey, you watched that Seattle game last night?
No, I did not.
Seattle Mets Sunday Night Baseball?
The Little League game?
The Little League game.
Yeah. I actually
Seattle
did catch
got
a little bit of it.
thumped.
Yes. By the Mets, yeah. And I do want to give an update. The Brewers finally lost, by the way. They were just winning some ungodly games this weekend against the Reds. The game they won on Saturday made 0 sense. They do lose in extras yesterday, though, to Cincinnati. So their losing streak is finally over after they are now 33 games above 500. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, moving on. We'll do one more quick Tigers thing because I forgot to mention it earlier. Brennan Hanafy is back after his 15-day minimum stint in AAA Toledo, and they send down Brant Herter. So welcome back, Brennan Hanafy, one of the more promising right-handers out of the Tigers bullpen this season.
Probably never should have been sent down in the first place. At least they realized their mistake. I expect a lot of transactions on a series-to-series basis from this point going forward. That's kind of what Hinch alluded to earlier this weekend.
For sure. Herter will definitely be back here at some point. We got some more football tonight after a weekend of preseason action. Bengals Commanders go on at 8, and it sounds like Joe Burrow and the Bengals starters are going to get a series or two once again. Why not?
I don't get it. Why? No. Here's why not. Because your guys can get hurt. I don't understand why. What do these starters have to prove against the Washington backups? What is the point of Zach Taylor playing all of his starters in the opening drive of these games? Hey, man,
no idea.
Bengals keep doing Bengals things.
Yeah. Let's run through a couple notable players from preseason this weekend as far as the QBs go. Last night, Caleb Williams in 2 series goes 6 of 10 for 170 yards and a touchdown pass. Ben Johnson had a ton of praise for Williams following the game. Obviously, it's just preseason, but with the amount of negative talk that has come to Caleb Williams throughout training camp, it's good to see him have a pretty good outing.
Doesn't it feel like Caleb Williams right now is like an only child where it's like they can do anything and the parents are like, good job. Yeah. And they're, I don't know. It feels like the Caleb Williams situation is so, I don't want to say fragile, but the way the media has covered him is so harsh so far this preseason that it feels like his coaching staff is doing a out of the way job where it's almost awkward of trying to prop him up and talk good about him. Which, I mean, you're never going to bash your own guys, except Dan Campbell kind of did against Hendon Hooker after this weekend's games. But yeah, the Caleb situation is one of the more fascinating situations for a first-year head coach, second-year quarterback that I can ever remember. It's like they're treating this team like it's some team that's a perennial playoff team with all their primetime spots.
So I'm telling you, dude, it's every year with these guys, man. And this year it's just been inflated.
It's amplified.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's something. And at the end of the day, I think I'm at the point where the more and more I look into every team and doing my preseason, studying up on every single one of these teams, I have a hard time thinking the Bears go over 500. I know I was pretty high on them earlier in the offseason at other points, but I'm starting to regress back to, okay, this is like a team that's bound to be better, but it's just too good of a division.
Yeah.
They're just clearly the 4th best team in the division.
I agree. Jackson Dart, we saw a little bit more of him this weekend, and man, he played pretty good, man. 14 of 16, 137 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Definitely has played better than Russell Wilson in the snaps that he's gotten in preseason. A lot of Giants fans saying, hey, we might see Dart sooner rather than later over Russ at some point this year.
Yeah, the problem with that is there's not a great spot to bring him in because Dable already said Russell Wilson is going to be the starter week 1. Like, they're not wavering from that. And their schedule's so tough where it's like usually you try to find some wiggle room to put in your rookie quarterback, but they go Washington, Dallas, Kansas City, the Chargers, and then maybe you can put him in week 5 against New Orleans, but then right away it's Philly and Denver and Philly.
Yeah.
Back to back to back. It's like those are 2 of the best defenses
you probably don't
in
even
football.
want him out there against those teams. Yeah.
No, you don't want to throw him out there to have him fail. So there's not really a good spot for him to come in at any point this season. So at some point I think they're just going to have to go through their growing pains and put him in. But he's an intriguing prospect. He really is.
Oh, yeah, he totally is. I think he's kind of impressed me. I don't really take a lot of takeaways from preseason usually, but from what you see of Dart, he looks a lot better than at least I thought he was going to be. And because of that, there's been a little bit of Jameis Winston trade rumors floated around as far as Jackson Dart winning the backup spot for a team that needs a backup, Ben. Obviously not to be a starting quarterback somewhere. There's some teams that need a backup, maybe the team that you and I follow as well. So there's been a little bit of Jameis Winston trade talks going around for maybe the Giants to move off of him.
Jameis Winston's not good. And I'm tired of pretending he is. He's not good. When he has to start games, whatever team he's on usually loses.
He was on the Browns last year, man. What do you expect from him? He was the Browns' best quarterback
I expect him to throw an
year.
interception.
Okay.
Basically every time.
I'm not here for the Jameis slander, man. He provides entertaining football. What
Man,
else
if
can
that's
you
what
ask?
you want in a fan, like as a fan, if you want entertainment more than you want wins.
He is the face of Thursday Night Football. Like, just have him start every Thursday night game for whatever team. Okay, we'll end the news here, and then we'll save the rest for later with a little bit of Scotty Scheffler glaze. Because yesterday he completed an impossible comeback, essentially, to win the BMW Championship. He was down 4 strokes to Bob McIntyre going into Sunday, but he was in second place, so they play against each other. And by the first 5 holes, they were tied up. Scotty Scheffler goes off. McIntyre has some really unlucky things happen to him early into that round to tie things up. Hole 17, Scotty was up by a stroke, and he chips in from 82 feet, birdie, basically seals the deal. It's his 5th PGA Tour win this year. He's the first player since Tiger Woods in 2006 and 7 to win at least 5 times on the PGA Tour in back-to-back years.
He's a superhero. Look, I idolize this guy at this point. It's pretty unbelievable. That chip shot he had that broke the internet was,
I mean, unreal.
Truly one of the craziest shots I've ever seen.
It had like 60 feet of run on the green. I mean, it was just some unreal stuff from Scotty. To make that comeback, crazy. 5 wins, like I said, and obviously the Tour Championship is coming up next, so a chance to make it 6. It's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, that'll end the news for now.
All right. Speaking of Scotty Scheffler, he might come up one more time in our stock exchange, which is coming up when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show right here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
Fueled by wonder and powered by science. At Dow, we're imagining better things for our customers and communities. It starts with our commitment to reach carbon neutrality by 2050, designing, building, and inspiring for the world around us. Because when we wonder, the things our world needs could be just one breakthrough away. That's Dow.
Transform your outdoor space with Maple Hill Nursery. Whether you're a gardening enthusiast or just looking to relax in style, they have everything you need. From premium polywood furniture that never needs painting to top quality plants and trees, Maple Hill Nursery has it all. Plus, they offer free setup and delivery on in-stock barbecue grills. Visit them today just north of Midland Mall or check out their website for pro tips and expert advice. Maple Hill Nursery, making your yard the place to be.
When someone asks me, when is the best time to start saving for retirement, my answer is simple. Today. I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor. I can help you build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better.
Edward Jones financial advisor Kevin Spencer at 416 West Wackerly in Midland, under the green awning. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Something's in the water.
Dude, it's in your mouth.
I can't see it, but I feel it.
This summer, from the people who brought you floss and fluoride, gum disease, the silent bite.
Ah! Why didn't anyone warn me?
We did. At Scott Family Dental, you may not see the problem, but we can. No insurance contracts and a team that treats you like family.
So no jaws, just gentle cleanings?
Exactly. But skip your checkup and you might need a bigger toothbrush.
Scott Family Dental. Catch the problems before they bite. Book now at scottfamdental.com.
It's your last chance to get to Dow Diamond. The Great Lakes Loons host the West Michigan Whitecaps to close out the 2025 regular season, August 26th through 31st.
It is good!
And the Loons are looking to secure a playoff spot and push for their second Midwest League championship. Tickets start at just $12 at loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said. Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family. Come to VA.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
A Monday tradition here on the Ben Bosscher Show. After a weekend full of sports and other things, what are we selling? What are we buying? It is time for the stock market exchange.
You know what? I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. The stock market.
The show goes on.
All right, Kyle, if you don't mind, I would like to kick us off today.
You know what? Go for it, Ben.
I am selling my stock on the Little League World Series game. I don't care about the Little League World Series whatsoever. I'm sick of pretending like I have to. I don't. I don't know any of these players.
Oh, you don't know any of these players?
I don't know any of these players.
It's a shame.
I don't have any kids. Therefore, why on earth would I care about that? It's not entertaining to me. So why would I care about the Little League World Series game that they play in Pennsylvania? Bad atmosphere, first of all. I'd rather just have a Sunday night game be at a home stadium. I turned it on yesterday. I'm expecting this big, grand thing of this incredible... No. Not a loud stadium, just a bunch of kids doing silly chants, and they're having all these kids come onto the broadcast and talk about their experience in the Little League World Series. I flat out do not care. I would much rather have a game at MetLife, or not at MetLife, at what's the Met Stadium? At Citi Field.
Got to dry here. There you go.
Citi Field. I'd much rather have a game in Seattle than in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I did not vibe with the game last night, and I think I'm all good on the Little League World Series game. Unpopular opinion, but I'm okay on it.
Would you have watched the game last night if it was a regular Sunday night baseball game?
Yes,
No.
because I turned it on not even knowing it was the Little League World Series game.
okay.
I was like, oh, Seattle Mets, like, you got the Mets that are one of the coldest teams in baseball despite having this high payroll. You've got Seattle, who's one of the hottest teams post-deadline. I was excited to turn it on. Terrible atmosphere. Terrible.
Wow, out on the Little League World Series game, huh? I didn't know that. Okay.
It's just not a good venue. It's just not. It's for the kids. So the kids that are there and the kids that are part of the Little League World Series, sure, like once-in-a-lifetime experience for them.
Yeah.
But for me on my TV, bad viewing experience.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, I got to buy. And someone in our YouTube chat, Nate from Saginaw, said it. So this is the one that I already had on here, so I want to get it out of the way early. I'm actually buying JMO stock right now. Look, with all of the Isaac TeSlaa hype we've been getting, I just want to remind people that we all know that JMO's about to break out this year. And there's been a lot of good JMO press in the last week or so as far as stuff covering him at practice. So I'm just going to buy JMO stock once again. It's pretty simple here. I just think that he's kind of going under the radar with all this TeSlaa stuff going on. We all believe that JMO's about to have another breakout year this season, just like he did last year. So I'm in on buying JMO stock.
Okay. I'll buy another Detroit athlete stock.
Okay.
I'll buy some Parker Meadows stock.
Ooh.
He's coming back at some point this season. And after he came back from, last year's a little different. He got sent down. He didn't get sent down this year, but the injury kind of coincided with him almost getting sent down because of his poor performance. But he comes back and is near 300 hitter the rest of the way. Hopefully he can provide some sort of spark for this Tigers team when he does come back. I'm going to buy some stock and hope that when he comes back, he's more than a 200 hitter, because if he is, that means my stock was a good investment, because that's what he is right now. So I'll take some Parker Meadows stock, a slight buy.
That.
I don't need a ton of stock in him, but I'll do a small buy here on a Monday.
Okay. I have a good one that I'm going to save for later because it relates to a topic we're going to have coming up. I will sell golfing stock.
What?
Look, man, football is back.
No.
Football is back, man. You only got, if you're a real big football guy, you got one more weekend to go play golf.
Oh, this is so not true.
And then, if you want to go play at 10 a.m. before football, sure, you can do that. But
that sounds incredible. Wake up early,
does.
go hit the links, play 18, starting at 7:30, get back before the noon games. What are you talking about? Golf is done.
Some of us are without a specific club that you really need to play golf. So, no, I actually played golf without my driver this weekend. It went pretty well.
What happened to your driver?
I discussed this on Friday. It snapped, and then the other one I had also did. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But I'm selling golfing stock, man. Football's back. You got one more weekend for a full golf weekend, and after that, it's like you got to squeeze it in if you really want to go.
No, with the Ryder Cup coming up here next month, I think this is a bad
golfing
sell.
stock is what I'm selling on, not actually watching golf.
Still, I think this is a bad sell. Kyle.
Okay,
this is a bad sell.
Would you try to sell it in 3 weeks?
You're getting booed in the chat right now.
Okay,
literally booed in the chat.
It's awesome.
I will buy Rogers Center stock. I'm just gonna put this out there, Tigers fans, don't be mad at me. Rogers Center blows Comerica Park out of the water. I like Comerica Park. I don't love Comerica Park. I think it's really hard to get food. It's just difficult to find places to eat throughout the concourse. I like how open the concourse is, I will say that. But Rogers Center, in terms of the atmosphere when I was there this weekend, it is built like a bowl, and what I mean by that is it is built so vertically that when you're in it, no matter where you are, it just feels like everyone is stacked on top of each other, which normally I wouldn't think would be a good atmosphere at a baseball game, but with the half dome underneath it, you've got the amps just bouncing back, the stadium's booming, everyone's on top of each other, so it feels like, I don't know if it just felt really loud in there or if it actually was, but it feels like you're in like a coliseum with no foul territory. The stands are literally hanging over, not literally, but it felt like the stands are hanging over the field. I thought it was an incredible atmosphere, really cool stadium, great concourse. I'm buying stock on the Rogers Center. I've only been to 3 Major League Baseball stadiums. That is by far the best one I've been to.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a lot of fun.
Small sample size.
So you're doing a buy and sell in one? Or are you selling Comerica Park stock with that?
No, I'm not selling Comerica Park stock. I'm just saying Rogers Center. Again, I've only been to 3 Major League Baseball stadiums. But that is not close, number 1.
Okay, I like that. I'll do one more quick buy here. I am buying Colt Keith stock. Look, Colt Keith quietly has been really good in August. 923 OPS in August, a 400 on-base percentage since he's been really full-time as his leadoff hitter on a 4-game hit streak, 6-game on-base streak. I think Colt Keith has just quietly been really good, and it hasn't really been getting talked about enough, so I just kind of wanted to show him some love.
Yeah, but Colt Keith is one of those guys similar to Carey where the numbers are just going to be better on paper than they actually are, because right now Colt Keith is really only playing versus right-handed pitching. So he'll be in that lineup today.
Not as bad as Kerry Carp, though.
Is it? It feels like he doesn't get any at-bats versus lefties anymore.
He doesn't get pulled early, though. Like, he never gets pulled early. He's good for 3 or 4 at-bats every game just because of how early he hits in the lineup as well.
I don't know. I had a lock of the day a couple weeks ago that did not hit because, well, not because, but part of the reason it didn't hit is because he got limited at-bats because he got pulled from the lineup early on in the game.
Could have made a better pick, though.
Which was, well, yes, I could have made a better pick. Jeff Ross in the chat is selling Kyle stock for you selling golf stock. That is, it's still wild that you did that.
It's good to sell Kyle stock, though, because it's always at an all-time high, you know.
We'll get to more stock exchange at the end of the 10 o'clock hour. Want to talk about Isaac TeSlaa. Want to talk about Michigan's punishment when we come back. The Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Leaky gutters?
No problem.
Shabby shingles?
We got this.
Remodeling?
Yup, that too.
Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair, your roof, gutter, and remodeling experts.
Any job, anywhere. Bresky can do it all.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
Call my dad, 989-529-8167.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Ah, bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm going to go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text Clean Car to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pools, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldoframesfest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Get in the game. The Gamers Game with the Great Lakes Loons on Saturday, August 30th. Presented by the Field of Frames Festival in Dow. The Gamers Game is where esports and baseball collide. Plus, don't miss the final fireworks loontacular of the season after the game, thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance. And the first 1,000 fans receive a Loons hat, courtesy of Fidelity Investments. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, Ben Bosscher Show, hour number 2 getting started right now. I missed out on Friday, and I want to rehash a conversation that you guys had on Friday, Kyle, because I feel very strongly about it. If you think that Michigan's title is tainted because of the information that came out on Friday, that they basically said, the NCAA, hey, we found that Michigan did in fact cheat. Harbaugh was a part of this elaborated scheme to steal people's signs. Cool. Because I saw a lot of discourse on XD Everything app. It has everything. The Michigan's title shouldn't count. I saw it on our own Facebook. Michigan's title shouldn't count. I think that is one of the most idiotic takes that I think I've seen here in the last year. The reason I think the Michigan title does in fact count is because they did not have Connor Stallions and did not cheat versus Penn State. They did not have Connor Stallions and did not cheat versus Ohio State. Same applies for Iowa in the Big Ten Championship. Same applies for Alabama in the Rose Bowl. They didn't have Connor Stallions. They weren't stealing signs for those games either. Oh, and in the National Championship, in which they blew Washington out of the water, they did not have Connor Stallions, and they did not cheat. Now, look, do I think Michigan is this golden standard football program that should be put on a pedestal? Not at all, right? They did, in fact, cheat. But I don't think that means the title's tainted. And if you're a Michigan fan and you're taking BS from somebody else that it's cheated, just who cares? Go buy some Michigan National Championship merch and say, you're just jealous your school doesn't have this. Because every time I saw an opinion on X, the Everything app, it has everything, or Facebook, you go click on this person's thing, they're bashing Michigan, you click on the profile, and what does their profile say? Spartan lover, Ohio State #1 fan, SEC enthusiast. All the people that are telling you that Michigan's title is tainted did not like Michigan prior to 2023. And now they're just using this as a reason to tell you that the title is tainted. It's all these people that despise the Michigan program before all of this stuff came out. And that's the part that's the most frustrating about this. Look, I personally grew up a Michigan fan. I dropped all that after A, I graduated from college, and B, after all this came out, because I was like, I don't want to associate with this because I thought I didn't know what was going on. And I think I've done a pretty honest job of now, taking the Spartans, taking the Wolverines, and being a radio host and saying, I just want good conversations about these teams. I want to see both of them succeed. The way that I've seen Michigan being discussed over the weekend, I almost want everyone to be wrong about them and for Bryce Underwood and for Sharon Moore to lift that trophy above their head once again, because I think it'd be hilarious that all these people preying on this school's downfall would be wrong once again. So if that makes me a Michigan fan, sure, maybe it does. I also hope that Aiden Childs ends up being a Heisman candidate if it makes you feel any better. I'm just so sick and tired of people trying to tear this program down and saying that the title is tainted because of something that happened 2 years ago. And it's like, oh, now that it's official, we can say that it's tainted. It doesn't matter. It was so far in the past, and I feel like people are using it as a reason to tear this program down when they already didn't like the school. When in reality, I think the silent majority of college football fans totally acknowledge that Michigan was the best team that year and won a national championship. Yes, Jim Harbaugh is basically banned from college football for the next 8 seasons. Same applies for Connor Stallions. Not that Jim Harbaugh was ever coming back anyway. And now Sharon Moore is going to not only face the 2-game suspension for this season, but also face the 1-game suspension in 2026 and will likely not be going to Germany. Now, here's what I'll say about Michigan appealing it. You guys are losers. Just take the suspension for next year too and let this thing be in the past. The fact that this is now leaking into 2026, I think is crazy. If you're a Michigan fan, you should just ask the NCAA. We'll take the suspension, the 3-game suspension this season because we want this to be over with. But instead, Michigan thinking as highly of themselves as anybody in the country says, we don't think that we did anything wrong here. So we're going to appeal this once again and drag this thing out even further because we don't think our coach should be suspended next season. Just take the punishment and let this thing be over because by the time next year rolls around and you're still dealing with this, you're going to be 3+ years removed from this situation and still dealing with the consequences because you will not just raise your hand and say, whatever, we'll take the suspension. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's good that they don't have any postseason ban or anything like that. That $30 million is going to hit them or up to $30 million fine. You can't bring in postseason revenue. That's going to hit Michigan pretty hard. Like they are facing a pretty significant consequence. It's not a postseason ban or win stripped, but that if you are really expecting that, then I need you to take off the I hate Michigan goggles because that was never going to happen. Their wins are not tainted. Yes, they stole signs. Yes, it was part of this elaborate scheme. But what team is not cheating?
Okay.
What team?
That's
Kyle.
Kyle.
Did Tom Brady get any wins taken away?
What team is not cheating?
Hold on. Did Tom Brady get a Super Bowl ring taken away from him? Did Bill Belichick get a Super Bowl ring taken away from him on the first or second time they cheated, whether it was Spygate or deflating the balls? No, and no one cares about that when they're talking about Tom Brady's legacy anymore. I don't understand why in college football people have such bitter hatred towards certain schools and certain conferences that this happens to be like, it's like, oh, I've been waiting to get this off my chest. Yes, we can finally acknowledge that this title's tainted. I think it's ridiculous that people are still so upset about this. I think people have just been waiting and waiting and waiting for this to come out so they can finally start bashing Michigan again. It's so annoying. I'm so sick of it.
Ben, they sent one of their assistant coaches on the sideline to their arch rival's game.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, they did.
Like, I'm with you. I was with you until the what team isn't cheating. No one's cheating like that. You know, like that. This is a little bit different. You know, I think it's a little bit different than we like the Patriots stuff. You know, I understand. Like, I'm with you.
They did the same thing.
Look, dude, I'm with you on the fact that the title shouldn't be taken away. I agree, and I agree that the suspension, whatever it is, Brad put it best on Friday. It was a giant waste of time. This 2-year thing as far as this playing out as long as it did, because clearly the NCAA did not find enough evidence that they cheated elaborately, or else the suspension would have been bigger for Sharon Moore, and the fines would have been bigger, and a potential wins taken away or a bowl ban would have been added into this thing, and none of that was. So, yeah, I agree with you in the fact that it was, one, it was a waste of time, and two, no, obviously Michigan's title's not getting taken away, because you look at a lot of other past champions across all sports, and those teams don't have their titles taken away for sketchy things that they've done. Like you said that. Like Louisville with Rick Pitino. And I think any Michigan fan that has always talked that thing, like, oh, Louisville's title should be taken away. Well, are you still saying that? You know? But, yeah, I'm with you in the fact, but saying what team doesn't cheat, nobody did it like them, man. That's something that I think that's why people feel a type of way about this. They still did cheat at the end of the day. And to some people who are, you know, I'm the no cheating in sports guys, those are the people that think Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Those are the people that think Pete Rose should still be out of the Hall of Fame, even though he's going to be reinstated and everything now. Those people think that if you cheat at all, then whatever happens after shouldn't count. And those people have those opinions. I'm with you in the fact that, yeah, I mean, their title shouldn't be taken away. They were the best college football team that season. Probably without any of the cheating and sign stealing and watching film and going to games, they probably still win the national championship. Mm-hmm. The issue is we don't know that. And so that's why people still feel a type of way about it.
I'm just looking at a couple comments that we're getting, some messages. Illegitimate national championship with illegitimate unbeaten season. Every win from that season should be vacated and the championship should be taken away. Like, do people really think that? That blows my mind that there are really people. Because if I had to guess, that person texting in, unnamed texter, probably a fan of Michigan State or Ohio State. And that's the other thing with this, the conference bias towards this, because I see a lot of people on ESPN basically saying, oh, this is tainted. I'm glad we can officially say this. What other sport is there so much like pride in a conference to where like I would rather see that team fail and everything go wrong with that school than just see a good game? Like, I think we're so like, it's such a weird concept, the conference pride thing, to where the Big Ten fans despise the SEC. The SEC fans look down upon every other conference. It's like, I just want to see good football.
But I also think the Big Ten, like, they despise the SEC. They also despise each other. The Big Ten doesn't support the Big Ten like the SEC supports the SEC. You know?
Correct.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something real? And I need you to be 100% real with me here.
I'm being real.
If Ohio State had this same exact thing happen to them in their 2024 title this past season.
Were they sign stealing?
Are you saying the same thing that you're saying right now? Because
well, it depends.
That's why people feel this way, because of the bias. Like you've pointed out, it's the people that don't like Michigan. That's why they're saying that. So if a school that you don't like and a program that you don't like did it, you'd probably be saying the same exact thing.
Well, if they had their own version of Connor Stallions and he was actually on the sideline during the national championship, during the game against
Michigan.
Michigan.
Same exact thing as Michigan. I want the same exact thing happen, but it happens to Ohio State.
Then yes, the title counts.
I can't confidently say that you would be saying that.
Oh, come on. Yes,
the
title would count.
That's why people – but do you get the point I'm trying to make? That is why people say that the title shouldn't count, because there's already a bias against Michigan from certain fan bases. Of course there is. That's how sports works. So if the team that you despise is doing that, I can't imagine you're like, oh, no, it still counts, right? Let Ohio State do that. They can still take their title. They're the best team. No way any Michigan fan would be saying that. So for the Michigan fans that are like, oh, Ohio State saying screw Michigan, their title should be taken away, you guys would be saying the same exact thing if Ohio State did it, if Michigan State did it. That's just how sports is, dude. The teams you don't like, they cheat. You're going to say, oh, they take away all their wins. Right?
No.
Okay.
Maybe the diehard fans, but I don't consider myself like a diehard fan of any of these college football teams. I just am a fan of the sport. And I think it's weird the way people are so, like, have so much bitter hatred towards other schools. And maybe that, like, I don't know, maybe I just don't understand it.
You don't understand how, I mean, you're a sports guy, Ben.
I know.
You don't understand how you could dislike another team?
No, I understand that aspect of it. I guess it's just taken to an extreme where it's like people are so excited. People like to hate more than they like their own teams, it feels like. And I think the Michigan example is a perfect example of that. People are more excited to hate on Michigan than actually cheer for their own team because they're so jealous that their own team is never going to win a national championship. Fair enough?
Well, I mean, the Ohio State group would. They don't fall into that
That's
realm.
not who I'm talking about.
Okay.
989-837-6125. Do you think this Michigan title is tainted? I want to get into some Isaac TeSlaa talk in a little bit too, but the Big Ten has proposed something for the college football playoffs that would actually be one of the most idiotic things in the history of college sports. That is next when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mitt, and we are in the middle of golf season. And if you're like me, you're looking for a new place to play. Golfers, look no further. Apple Mountain in Freeland, where every round comes with a side of scenic perfection. Championship-level course, beautifully maintained, and just the right mix of challenge and fun. And when you've wrapped up 18, head to the Apple Mountain Restaurant, the perfect place for casual elegance and spectacular views. Whether you're playing for score or just soaking up the atmosphere, Apple Mountain is your place to unwind, recharge, and enjoy the game. Apple Mountain in Freeland, minutes away but miles from ordinary.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
It's your last chance to get to Dow Diamond. The Great Lakes Loons host the West Michigan Whitecaps to close out the 2025 regular season, August 26th through 31st.
It is good!
And the Loons are looking to secure a playoff spot and push for their second Midwest League championship. Tickets start at just $12 at loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Michigan.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). If you thought college football was already going off the rails, just wait till you hear this. The Big Ten has begun the stages of, well, they haven't officially proposed this yet, but they're in the process of getting this ball rolling. They want to propose a 28-team college football playoff. You know who's stupider than the guy who proposed or who brought this up, who designed a 28-team playoff? Anyone in that room that was like, oh, you know what? That actually might be a good idea. They want to have the entire top 25 in the college football playoffs, like the 25th or 24th or, hell, any team outside of the top 10 has the slightest chance to win a national championship. What are we doing? I know the incentive of this is just money motivated because everything in this sport is money motivated. But at some point, someone's got to step in and be like, guys, this is the dumbest idea any of us have had in a really long time. What are we doing? There aren't even 12 teams that are capable of winning a national championship right now. And we are 1 year into the 12-team football playoffs. And we want to expand it to where the entirety of the top 25 is getting in. Look, the reason why the Big Ten wants this and why any conference would want this is the more teams you get in from your conference's standpoint, the more teams you get into the postseason, the more postseason revenue you can bring in through the media rights deals and the TV money. But at some point, someone's got to step in and just be like, this is idiotic. There is no reason for us to have 28 teams in the postseason. And in this, again, they're in the early stages of developing this, and maybe it never happens. Let's cross our fingers and hope it never happens. The conference championship would basically be the first round of the playoffs in some way, shape, or form. That's how things would get kicked off. There wasn't a ton of details in it, but for all intents and purposes, they want to get as many teams in as possible.
This is just, some of the details of this proposed thing from the Big Ten, too, is just ridiculous. It would get rid of conference titles games because they're like, oh, it's too many games. Let's take away one of the coolest games there is. Everyone loves the conference title weekend.
Yeah, let's just have it be the playoffs.
Yeah, that's gone now. 7 auto bids for Big Ten and SEC, and then 5 for the ACC and the Big 12. It's like, they can get a couple more or a couple less than us. So at that point, that's what? 24 of the bids going, 24 of the 28 going to those 4 conferences?
Do you want to know who the 5th best team in the ACC was last season?
Ooh, that's a good one. Duke? I don't know. It's just a random team I'm throwing out there.
Louisville, who went 9-4 in 5-3 in their crappy conference. That team does not belong in the postseason.
No. Like you said, how many teams can actually win a national championship in the current landscape of college football? There's no way it's more than 8,
6?
Obviously, yeah.
7?
No, but for real, that's the weird part about this playoff is it's obviously all for money. And you obviously can make the argument that, well, NFL playoffs is 14 teams, and other, the NCAA college basketball is a little bit different.
It's also a professional league where every player is making millions of dollars.
Right.
These are, at the end of the day, semi-professional. We can consider them professionals at this point, but
right.
These kids are going to die by the end of the season.
Sure. Yeah, it's a lot of football, dude. It's a lot of football, especially for guys that want to go on and play at the next level, and for the amount of safety things that we've really had to discuss over the last decade in football as far as head injuries and all this research that has gotten done. This just totally goes against that, you know? These guys are still at the age where the brains are developing and all that stuff, and it's to have them play more and more football is just – it honestly is kind of sickening from the people, from Tony Petitti and the rest of that group in the Big Ten. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Are you only doing this just because you want to make a different format than the SEC is trying to propose? Like, you want to be – is that still this weird thing going on where, like, you can't come to an agreement as far as what you two want to do? We've talked about that those two teams should – or conferences should just – gang up and go against the NCAA and do their own thing. That's never going to happen. These guys seem to despise each other as far as their idea proposing.
If Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey actually could just shake hands and try to come up with a solution, like if these guys weren't such bitter frenemies, I think they could change college football for the better. But instead, they're having this weird little friendly competition on who can come up with the next playoff format.
Who can come up with the worst idea?
Right. Who can come up with the most money-generating worst idea that can ruin the sport even more than it already has been ruined the last few years with the transfer portal? And I don't care about the players being paid. I really don't. I think they deserve to be paid. But the transfer portal's been ridiculous. The conference realignment has been ridiculous. No one is like, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are like, no, the college football is actually the best it's ever been right now. No one's saying that. And it feels like before we can even perfect this version of it, we're trying to move on to the next version, which to have 25-plus teams in a college football playoff, I really can't think of one person who's not money motivated, who can think of 3 good reasons why this should be the case.
Is there any college football fans out there that see this and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of in for that?
Yes.
Like, there's just no way.
I can't wait to see Tulane get smoked by Texas in the first round of the playoffs. Nobody's saying that. Tulane fans don't even want that. Then it doesn't become special to make the postseason.
20 different playoff games it would add if they did that. I mean, that's just it's
congratulations to every team that went 9-4 in conference play. You get to squeak into the playoffs and get spanked by one of the best teams.
But the issue is the universities probably are in on this, right?
Because
they get to host games. Like, yeah, you have just a much better chance of making more money come playoff time. So that's the issue. The fans obviously aren't going to want this, but the universities themselves are probably going to talk themselves into it. I still would be shocked if this happened, but it's just like I can't imagine being in that meeting and someone proposing like the 24-team thing, and then Greg in the corner like raises his hand. He's like, "What if we did 28 though instead?
How about 32?
Yeah. What if we just keep adding them? Like, why 28? Why stop there? Why not keep going and going? Like,
what if the entirety of the season was just single elimination tournament?
Right.
It makes no sense what is going on in this landscape of college football. And it feels like no one's actually looking out for the best interests of the sport, which, look, can there actually be a commissioner of college football and someone who oversees the whole thing, which obviously everyone would nominate Nick Saban to do so? Hopefully, but that doesn't really feel like that is going to happen. The power dynamic between Petitti and Sankey and then Charlie, like the Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, it feels like no one's ever going to just like look out for the sport. Everyone's just interested in how they can make money for their respective conference, or I guess I don't even know what Charlie Baker's job is at this point. But look, you guys know what I think about this. I would be a fan of just 2 super conferences. If we're going to be halfway and dance on the rope of whether this is professional or amateurism, just lean into the professionalism. Make 2 super conferences, SEC, Big Ten, or you can rename the conferences, whatever you really want, and just come up with a scheduled format to where these schools don't have say over their schedule. You make the schedule for them. It's somewhat designed based on the NFL system and how the standings finished the year prior, and take the opinion pieces out of it. Because what I've learned the last 2 years is no one has an unbiased opinion in this sport. Nobody. No matter how this 12-team playoff format is going to shape out, people are going to be mad that their conference didn't get enough bids, and people are going to be mad that this conference did get more bids, and everyone is going to be interested in themselves and how they can benefit themselves, and no one is actually just interested in benefiting the sport. So take the opinion out of it. Make it a standings-based sport. Now, I'm probably never going to get my wish because Petitti and Sankey are never going to see eye to eye on this, it seems like, but I'm just so sick and tired of the conference bias getting in the way of the interest of the fans and the players and what's best for the sport in general. Because it feels like we're just getting more and more off the ropes on what college football should be.
We might as well just make it all 128 teams in Division I.
That's what I'm saying. Single elimination.
Yeah.
We'll crown the champion one way or another. 989-837-6125. Let's talk a little NFL when we come back. A trip around the league, including some hot butt rankings. That's when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Get in the game. The Gamers Game with the Great Lakes Loons on Saturday, August 30th. Presented by the Field of Frames Festival in Dow. The Gamers Game is where esports and baseball collide. Plus, don't miss the final fireworks loontacular of the season after the game, thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance. And the first 1,000 fans receive a Loons hat, courtesy of Fidelity Investments. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loons staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the MHSAA, are the 292,000 high school sports students in Michigan. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Okay, Kyle.
All right, Ben. Today's Around the League. We're going to talk about some coaches in the NFL that might be coaching for their final season, or maybe at least for that team. We're going to do a little bit of a NFL coaches hot seat ranking today. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. I wrote down 11 coaches in 4 different tiers for who is considered to be on the hot seat.
Okay.
In the NFL. I don't know how you did this, but
I kind of just ranked mine as far as who I think actually has a chance to get fired, and I kind of just ranked them throughout that way.
How many guys did you come up with?
I didn't do as nearly quite as many as you. I only have 7 names on here. I don't think there's that many hot seat guys.
I think I was pushing the envelope a little bit towards the end with my last few, but I only have one guy in the top tier, and the top tier I called waiting to pull the trigger. The ownership is ready to move on. They're just waiting for a reason. Give them a few losses in a row, and this is going to happen fairly quickly. The number one coach who I think has the hottest butt, got to win against the Lions this week, and I think it's Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like you gotta take training camp with a grain of salt. But
of course,
some of the stuff that's come out of training camp of them getting blown out of the water and their practice habits being in question, that does come into consideration here. And with him being now in year number 3 or 4, it really is like, hey, man, you're going to have to show a significant step forward this season. We get it. You're some offensive guru, but teams have seemingly figured out what is going on and have gotten ahead of the curve. Now it's time for you to make some adjustments, especially considering the culture doesn't really seem to be at its best right now, with Tyreek Hill like actively sabotaging the team and the coach not being able to get that under control. I think this is the only guy in the league that the ownership and the team is actively waiting to find a reason to fire him.
Yeah,
he's number 1 in my rankings.
He's the top of my rankings as well. And yeah, if I did do it in tiers, he probably would be in his own tier. I just think that there is a world, though, where Miami, like with how weak that division is, there's a chance that they could just go 9-8 and they don't fire him. Like I don't think it's an auto fire this year. I don't think there's a single guy that is under auto fire watch this season. Which other years I think that's just like there's been multiple guys under that situation.
Well, I'm glad we at least have the same first guy.
Right.
The second tier I said, don't regress too far. These are teams with some expectations going into the season that are positive for the most part. And if there is a dip in play from last year and all of a sudden they're a worse team when the fan base thought going into the year they'd be a better team, well, these coaches better watch their butts. Raheem Morris I have as the number 1 person in this tier. And I don't think a lot of Atlanta fans are like expecting Raheem Morris to be fired or don't like their coach. But if you bring in Michael Penix and all of a sudden, hey, but we've talked about this, don't be surprised if this is a wild card team this year. But if they're actually a worse team than they were, which I don't really think they're going to be, I think Atlanta is very quickly pointing to their head coach and being like, why do we have a defensive-oriented head coach when we've invested so much into our offense the past couple of years? Then I think things start to get a little bit shaky for them. I have Dave Canales on this list too. The Panthers head coach showed some nice signs of life last year. I don't think they want to fire Dave Canales just because they've gone through so many coaches over the last 5 years. But if they just are the worst team in the league again, probably getting fired. And then Jonathan Gannon, the Arizona head coach, I have in this tier as well. I think there's some good expectations going into the year for what Arizona can be. Maybe a frisky wild card team, but if they can take a step back, all of a sudden I think, again, people are going to be pointing to Jonathan Gannon and asking, why do we have a defensive-oriented head coach when we've invested so much into our offense?
Yeah, and I think Gannon, too, especially. I do have him in my top 5. He's my 5th guy on the rankings. I also think that division is at a weaker spot that it's been in some years, so it's like this is almost their opportunity to take a leap back up to the top of that division. And if they don't, he could be under pressure. Yeah, I do have Dave Canales at number 4. It's one of those situations where a young head coach in his first year was pretty rough, and there's always that talk after year 1 of a young head coach like, did we make the wrong move? Maybe we fire him now, like with Gerard Mayo last year. But then you kind of give him that second year to like fix things, and if you don't, then maybe it's his time to go. That's why I also have Brian Callahan on my list. I actually have him number 3rd. Look, we saw this with Caleb Williams. Like, you take the QB number 1 overall, but don't get him the new head coach. There is so much pressure under that head coach to kind of at least have that guy set up for some sort of success right away. Should Tennessee be good? No. But the pressure that Callahan's going to be under with the Titans, with Cam Ward, I think is going to be immense. So that's why I have Callahan at number 3, and then Canales, I think, falls into that same group at number 4.
See, I'm thinking about that in a much different scenario, specifically the Brian Callahan situation. I think that, I have a tier literally called Shielded by a Young Quarterback.
And Dave Canales isn't in that group?
No, he's not, because Bryce Young he's in year 3. Like, all right, you can't use that as an excuse anymore. Brian Callahan I do have in this tier. This is Kellen Moore. This is Brian Dable. This is Shane Steichen. It's not necessarily a young quarterback. Shane Steichen doesn't fit that bill, but it's protected by a quarterback-related situation.
Right.
In the case of Brian Dable, when the Giants inevitably sucked to start the year, he has the card to pull of, hey, now it's time for Jackson Dart to come in. I'm not the first guy to get booted from this team. It's going to be Russell Wilson. Shane Steichen can kind of sit back and say, the Colts head coach, look at the quarterbacks I have. This is arguably the worst quarterback room in the league. Kellen Moore, the exact same situation down in New Orleans. With Brian Callahan, it's, hey man, this roster's really bad. We've got a young quarterback. I'm here to stay. We can have a good relationship, but this is going to take some learning. I think next year, if this is bad, next year would be the year that people are kind of putting him under a microscope.
I just think that when you get the first overall quarterback, a lot of the times you see the new coach that comes in with him, and I think him not getting that new coach is very similar to the Matt Eberflus stuff from last year. So we'll see. I also do have Dable at the bottom of my list. I don't know. I feel like if they would have fired Dable, it would have been last year. It would have been going into this season.
I agree.
Like, if they're going to be bad this year, it's not going to be his fault. So I would be pretty surprised if he got fired. I don't think he's really on the hot seat. He is my 9th guy on the list, though. So
I have one coach in his own tier, and it's just called One and Done. This is the Patriots situation from last season. Brian Schottenheimer, the Dallas head coach. If this season just goes horrendously and this ends up being one of the worst teams in the league, maybe Jerry Jones has the balls to admit his mistake like the Patriots Kraft was able to do last year and just says, yeah, I know, I hired the wrong guy. Let's go get a more established coach than Brian Schottenheimer, who, again, I don't think anyone actually knows what he did last season.
Knows who he is even? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he is just kind of there to be the scapegoat if things don't go wrong.
He's there to be the yes man to Jerry Jones.
And if things go well, it's like Jerry Jones kind of takes all the credit for it. So
correct.
He's just not in a great spot there. Can I throw out a name, though, that you haven't said that's number 2 on my list? And I'm interested to see what tier you have him in.
Can I guess who it is?
Sure.
It's Kyle Shanahan.
No. Shanahan is on my list, though.
Is it Mike Tomlin?
No. Tomlin I don't think's in the hot seat at all.
Okay,
it's
then I
Zach
don't know.
Taylor. I have Zach Taylor number 2. I think that if I were to make a tier for him, it would be make the playoffs or get fired. If the Bengals miss the playoffs again, Zach Taylor's out. I really would be surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah, but here's what you're not taking into consideration. The Bengals ownership would have to pay 2 different coaches then if they fired Zach Taylor. They're not going to do that. They're not signing up for that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're paying 2 wide receivers a ton of money, so why not pay 2 coaches?
And they're already like, oh, my God, why are we doing this? What are we doing?
I just think that with all the things that have been sour in Cincinnati over the last year, at some point something needs to happen as far as the coach is always the first guy that gets the scapegoat label, you know, that, we just need to make a move. Let's fire the coach. If Cincinnati doesn't make the playoffs this year, with Cleveland going to be as bad as they are, Pittsburgh, no one thinks they're actually going to be good, right? They're in a prime spot to make a wild card this year, and that defense is still going to disappoint. I think Taylor is in a major hot seat spot this season.
He didn't even make my list, but yeah, you're probably right. If they don't make the play, unless Joe Burrow steps in and once again dictates everything that happens with this franchise, like he often does, and is like, no, I actually really like Zach Taylor.
I think he does.
They won't fire him though.
Yeah, I think he does like him. So we'll see.
He does. Public reports say. And then I have one more tier. It's just called, hey, the season didn't go as planned, and after the year, it's time to move on. Mike Tomlin and Kyle Shanahan, both in this tier.
I did include Shanahan on my list, not Tomlin. I just think Tomlin has built up such a legacy in Pittsburgh that it would be really tough for them to fire him no matter what.
Even if they have 6 wins this year with Rodgers?
Never gone below 500. The one time he does, you fire him. I think that'd be kind of crazy if they did that.
I think Steelers fans are kind of fed up. Like, this bit's kind of old. Hey, we go 9-8 every year and get spanked by everybody in the
Yeah, I think so too. But, they are making an effort to try to get out of that, right? With at least what they've done, moves-wise and spending-wise this offseason.
They brought in Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback.
I mean, what else were they supposed? What other quarterback were they supposed to go get?
Shedeur Sanders.
Right, yeah, he would have started for sure.
Looking back, I think it's kind of insane the Saints didn't take him too. Like really,
you'd Tyler Shook, dude.
Yeah, you'd rather have Tyler Shook than Shedeur out there. It's becoming like more and more laughable what happened to Shedeur.
Yeah, I would say so too. But like he wasn't ever going to start week 1 for any team.
I don't know. It feels like he could definitely be starting week 1 for the Saints.
I guess maybe the Saints. Yeah, you're probably right with them.
I think there's a world where he's just better than Aaron Rodgers right away. I just don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to be a plus player this season by any means.
I'm with you on that.
989-837-6125. Let's continue our stock exchange when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on YouTube, 100.9 The Mitt, and Facebook. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already on YouTube. The road to 400 has begun. 313 subscribers right now. Shout out to D. But we need it to go higher than that. So we need to get to 400 here by the end of August. Let's say that's the goal. So if you haven't hit the like or subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Help us out. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland. All right, so over the weekend, the Tigers take 3 of 4 with the Twins. Obviously not the best game yesterday, losing that one in big fashion. But I think overall the weekend is a W. And I would say the big reason the weekend was a success was because of the late game bullpen success. To open things up on Thursday, we got a good performance from Rafael Montero. Will Vest has looked really good since converting to this kind of setup role. Does still get some appearances in the 9th inning, of course. But the big thing is, man, how good Kyle Finnegan has been since getting in a Tigers uniform. Since trading for him on July 31st, he's made 7 appearances, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs with just 2 hits allowed, 10 Ks to just 1 walk and 4 saves. Kyle Finnegan has straight up been one of the best relievers in baseball since the start of August. I understand that we were upset with the way that the Tigers didn't approach the deadline super aggressively, but look, it's another one of these Scott Harris trades that you can look at and be like, yeah, this was a major W. Kyle Finnegan has been awesome for this Tigers bullpen, and the 1-2 combo of him and Vest is a duo that you trust in a playoff game late. Now, obviously, the middle guys leading up to those two is the part where you maybe are a little bit nervous. But at the end of the day, late in a game, crunch time, Kyle Finnegan seems like he is going to be very tough for hitters to go up against in the playoffs. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
Hi, this is Jim Mahoney with Link Technologies. As a business owner, you might be struggling with today's technological advancements in the IT arena and how they could benefit your growing business. Let Link Technologies' talented staff work with you to develop a technology plan custom to your specific needs. We bring 27 years of experience helping businesses and nonprofit organizations just like yours achieve their technology goals. Contact us today and see how the right balance between cloud and on-premise resources can best work for you.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide, making waves one splash at a time so you can dive deeper than ever before.
Mountain View Restaurant at Apple Mountain, where casual elegance meets breathtaking views. Our new expanded menu features a wide variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, from fresh seasonal options to your all-time favorites. Whether you're hosting a client lunch, enjoying happy hour, or planning a date night, we have the perfect setting for every occasion. Don't miss our weekly features and refreshing beverages. In the summer, dine al fresco on our beautiful patio and soak in the scenery. Mountain View, where great food meets spectacular views.
The doctors at Midland Eye Care want you to know a comprehensive eye exam is the only way to protect and detect vision-related disease. It goes beyond improved vision from glasses or contact lenses. Many common eye diseases such as glaucoma, diabetic eye disease, and age-related macular degeneration often have no warning signs. A dilated eye exam is the only way to detect these diseases in their early stages. This message brought to you by Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and now on East Washington in Freeland.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
989-837-6125. Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt. It is time for our second rendition of the Stock Exchange.
You know what? I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. The stock market.
The show goes on.
All right, I kicked us off last time. Kyle somehow sold his stock on golf.
Yeah, dude, everyone's hating on me for that one, man.
Because it was insane.
Look, I just like football more than golf. Is that fair?
Yeah, that doesn't mean you have to
guys.
sell your golf stock.
I mean, when else am I going to sell it? When I'm actually done playing? I'm trying to get out ahead of this.
You don't have to ever sell your golf stock. Just take it. It's steadily on the. Take it after Scotty Scheffler retires. Then it's going to be boring.
My going golfing stock, not my in general golf stock. Okay, let me lead it with something else though. Okay, I got a sell here. I am selling my EA support stock. EA as in like the Madden EA. Look, so I got to tell a quick story. My college football league, I'm the commissioner of it, 8-man dynasty league.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the Big 12, random teams, and I just have some other odd teams in there. My friend who's Appalachian State, he goes to log on to play his game so he can advance week the other day, and he can't even join the league. He got kicked out of the league without even anything happening, and then I can't add him back in as App State because it still says there's a user as App State, but I can't take that user off because it says no one's controlling App State. And I looked this up as far as like how to fix this issue. Seems like this has happened to hundreds of people this year, and there's not a single time where it's been fixed. So I tried putting in a claim with EA support. It didn't work, and I just had to add him back in as a different team now, which is quite frustrating. So I'm selling
annoying.
EA support stock, man. It's really tough.
I'm going to sell stock on the UFC middleweight division. What was once the division I loved, with Adesanya being the champ and some of the most entertaining. Like, that's when I really fell in love with the UFC. And then Duplessis, I thought, was just a terrible champion. And then he got dominated
got destroyed.
Just destroyed by Kamachev this weekend. And now it's like, okay, there's a wrestler here as the middleweight champion. So, look, I don't hate on the wrestling as much as a lot of other people do because I get it. It's boring for some people, the grappling style of bring someone to the floor and just dominate the ground game. But look, I don't hate it as much as everyone else does. It just feels like there's not a legitimate star in the middleweight division right now in UFC. That was a brutal fight this week, and it was not very entertaining.
It was,
so
and
I'm selling my middleweight stock.
That was
I'm
probably the
good.
worst title fight of the year as far as just like it actually being kind of tight odds. You know, like Duplessis was like, I think, plus 250 to win. So it's like it was kind of tight.
And I couldn't stand watching Duplessis in the first place. I just thought he was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that was a really brutal one there, especially for these last couple pay-per-view fights throughout the rest of this year. That's a tough one for that look for them. Okay, I will buy some stock here. This is a pretty random one, right? Football season coming up. It's not even really close to college basketball season. So that's why it's the perfect time to buy Cohen Carr stock.
Wow.
I saw basically a highlight reel from that Ole Miss game in the round of 32 this year between Michigan State and Ole Miss. And it was that Cohen Carr game. And I just keep thinking, like, man, this is the year. Cohen Carr becomes the star of MSU hoops this year. And I can't wait for it. So that's why I'm just going to buy stock now. Why not?
I don't mind that. It's good timing. I'm actually going to ask you a question rather than buy or sell. I do not know what to make of Scotty Scheffler stock. On one hand,
you can't buy it.
On one hand, you're right. You cannot buy it. He's fresh off of not a major win, but
it's another tour win.
Another tour win, and he's having one of the best years we've ever had. Like, it's too late to buy the stock. But I also don't want to sell the stock. This guy,
then you hold the stock. It's a good stock to already have.
But I feel like I need to do something with it. He's by far
then obviously
the best golfer in the world right now. And I don't think there's any reason to think that is going to change anytime soon, because not only is he the best, it feels like he is levels above everyone else. I saw the stat. This happens after every time he wins a tour event. How many more consecutive weeks he needs to be number one to touch Tiger's streak? He'd have to be number one until October of 28 to tie Tiger's record for the longest streak of being the active number one golfer in the world. I don't think he's going to get that. But at the same time, I don't even know who I'd guess to pass him.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I'd guess to pass him right now. So if you think he can even get remotely, if you think he's still going to be the number one golfer a year from now, buying isn't the worst thing. Okay, he's had a great
buying
for
the
year.
Long-term play.
Yeah, he's had a great year. It's too late to have the crazy, holy cow, we had 500% profit this season. But I still feel like if you bought right now, 3 years from now, it's probably still going to be profitable. So I don't know what to do here. Do I buy and just say I missed out on something great for this season, but it's still a long-term investment? Or is it a sell, this is as high as it's ever going to be? Can't be this good for this long.
I think you sell for the rest of this year. You sell for, basically, since he won this week the BMW Championship. Okay, I'm selling that he won't win the Tour Championship, I guess. And then maybe the Ryder Cup he doesn't go insane at. And then off-season you buy for the long-term play. You can't buy. I think under no circumstances can you buy in this given moment.
That's what okay.
Just based off of what happened this weekend. You know?
I also would not want to bet against this guy.
Of course, no one would.
Ever.
That's why the true play is you just hold. You just hope that you already have some of his stock, and you just hold.
All right, I'll hold then.
Okay.
Can I buy Caitlin Clark stock once again?
Yeah, because honestly, she hasn't been talked about in a while. So
because she hasn't been playing.
Right, exactly.
She's been out for almost all this season with this groin hamstring injury type
really
of thing.
Tough.
It feels like there's a chance she comes back at some point this season, but yeah, she's kind of just flying under the radar, and I'm going to stand on the fact that I think she's going to go down as the best WNBA player ever one day. So yeah, I'll buy Caitlin Clark stock while it's not doing the Scotty Scheffler thing and just skyrocketing.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'll do a buy here. It's another Tiger buy, but it's a little bit related to award-winning wise. I'm going to buy Tarek Skubal stock as far as winning the Cy Young still, because that has been shrunk to at least as tight as it's been all year. Garrett Crochet is just plus 210 to win the award now. Skubal minus 250, so it's still not great value as far as actually betting on Skubal to win the Cy Young. But I'm just betting on the fact that he is going to really improve. He's had probably his worst back-to-back starts all season, and they still really haven't been that bad. So, yeah, I think that Skubal is still the Cy Young. I think he's going to bounce back, and he's going to do it in a really big spot tomorrow against Houston, which is a huge game against another really good pitcher in the American League. So I'm going to buy Tarek Skubal stock while it's probably lower than it's been in a while.
I like it. I am going to sell some Bengals stock. After all of this, after this long offseason of the Trey Hendrickson drama, they're still going to not extend him, and they're still going to trade him. It's truly one of the most incompetent organizations in sports that just lucked into having Joe Burrow, and then Joe Burrow forcing them to draft Jamar Chase, which is going to keep them above, floating above the water here for the foreseeable future. But this is one of the worst run organizations. I can't believe that they're just refusing to pay this guy who's led the league in sacks the past 2 seasons. It feels like they're just punting on their chances to win a Super Bowl once again. So, yeah, I'm going to sell my Bengals stock.
Okay. I think I bought Bengals stock a little bit ago.
You did.
I'm going to do one really quick one. I'm selling Big Ten stock just because of that stupid idea. I'm just whoever came up with that, I'm out on that, man. Just a dumb idea. I'm selling my Big Ten stock because of that.
Truly one of the dumber ideas I've ever heard be thrown around in the college football world.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right, 989-837-6125. What are you buying? What are you selling? Send us a Mitt message, 989-837-6125, or just drop it in the YouTube chat. We can get some of those going as well. And hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't already. All right, we've still got a lot to get to today. I want to talk about a rookie on the Detroit Lions who has been balling out in preseason. You probably know who it is. Screw it. I'll tell you. It's Isaac TeSlaa. That's coming up when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
(989-837-6125). Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mitt, your home for Detroit sports in the great state of Michigan. All right. Look. It's preseason. Yeah, it's preseason, but some things you just can't ignore. And number 18 on the Lions is a dog, and they have to find a way to get this guy in the lineup, making an impact week 1. Isaac TeSlaa. This guy has been sensational so far in preseason. I am sorry, Tim Patrick. Thank you for your service in 2024. Extremely valuable piece that led to a number 1 seed. But less than 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, he's a solid wide receiver 3. Doesn't really have a lot of juice after the catch. Not exactly a contested catch guy. On the wrong side of 30, already dealing with some training camp injuries. Isaac TeSlaa, the 3rd-round pick, is looking like a first-round pick. The way he's being talked about is like a first-round pick. He's making preseason catches as if he was a first-round pick. This is not a move that I loved at the time when they traded up and took him in the 3rd round, considering he wasn't even a wide receiver 1 on his own team in college. But everything we've seen from this guy has been outstanding. The touchdown he had this weekend when he leaps into the air and tracks the ball and contours his body, walls off the defender, and just has this incredible catch in the corner of the end zone. I mean, that is first-round receiver stuff. I would laugh my butt off if this guy ends up being a better player than Matthew Golden for the Packers, who was their first-round pick. And I don't even think that's off the table. And the fact that he's making $2 million or less the next 3 years, you can't even describe how valuable that is for the Lions' sake because of all these guys that they're going to have to pay. Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, like all these guys, you're going to have to start making some pretty tough decisions. Now you know you've got something very intriguing for the next 4 seasons that's essentially going to cost you nothing. This is one of the more intriguing players on the roster at this moment in time to me. I'm not saying he's coming in and just dominating from day one once the regular season starts, but look, Tim Patrick's a very solid wide receiver 3. Isaac TeSlaa has some like real upside and I think could change this offense. That's the sort of potential I think he has, and everything we've seen from him indicates we're going to get some version of that. So why wait? Let's just throw this guy right into the fire like they did with Terrion Arnold last season to some degree and have him be the wide receiver 3 week 1. Like, let's start getting this guy reps right away. It's a safe space to be because you have Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, for that matter, as other passing options. Look, I love everything Tim Patrick did last season, but you can't be married to this guy who's making $2.5 million this season back on a 1-year deal. He's already banged up. Isaac TeSlaa has got to be worked into the starting lineup, or at least like a starting wide receiver 3 lineup week 1 against the Packers. I cannot stop watching this guy. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I can't really remember a time I was more intrigued by a late Lions pick in a while. Just because these last several years we've had all these first-rounders, even second-rounders get all this buzz in training camp, and you're super excited for them, which obviously you are because those guys are going to come in, be impact players. And now that the Lions are in a spot where mainly only their first 2 picks in the draft are going to be starters locked up because of how much depth that they do have and how much they've hit in the draft in the past, you don't really feel this type of way about the later round picks as you did a couple years ago. But man, with TeSlaa, it's like, how has he not earned a week 1 role? Right? I mean, what else is he supposed to do? I understand that, and I'm with you on Tim Patrick as far as you can just have both of them, right? I like Tim Patrick is it's not like he has to just be completely cut out of this team and will never play. Like, no, I think Tim Patrick is still probably the guy you want out there on 3rd down, just because of the reliability of a guy like him and a veteran out there. For sure, understand that. Not saying TeSlaa has to be out there every single play, but from what we've seen, I mean, even when we talked with Jeremy Reisman last week, he said the same thing. Like, how could you not say this guy has earned at least some playing time early in the season? There's no – he's done everything he's had to do. Some of these plays he's made in these preseason games, man, are just like you think, what was he doing at Arkansas? What was his Arkansas offense doing with this guy?
He wasn't even the wide receiver 1.
Was he even the wide receiver 2? Like, that was up for debate, you know? So it's just it's crazy, man. I'm super excited to see what this looks like as far as when week 1 is rolling around, those headlines that we're getting out of practice and stuff. I'm very intrigued by what that's going to be like.
Plus, it's just an awesome story of him being from Michigan and showing up to his interviews with the Lions in a Lions jersey that he had from his childhood. Like, this is one of the coolest stories, and it feels like we're talking about him as if he was a first-round pick. That's the way he's impacting camp and the way that he's impacting some of these preseason games. This is a third-round guy, a guy that none of us liked when they drafted him, and he has changed everyone's mind extremely quickly just based on everything he's done on the field. So this to me is, I don't know if I'm yet to call, I don't know if I want to call it a wild card based on what can happen this year, but he certainly has a wild card season. Maybe he's not impacting the Lions' success this year, but hell, if he can come in and be like an impact guy week one, all of a sudden maybe we are talking about this Lions wide receiver core is maybe the best in the NFL. If J-Mo takes that leap that you talked about earlier in the show too.
Exactly. Is he on getting his jersey level yet, or is it too early for that?
Well, I would imagine everyone from the greater Grand Rapids area is
because
a little bit more likely to get his
jersey. The last name is also
jersey.
sick. TeSlaa is the jersey.
Coleslaw.
I mean, that is how can you not at least consider buying that jersey?
I think there's a town over on the west side of Michigan that is probably all wearing his jersey at this point. And if you haven't got it already, it's he just keeps scoring touchdowns in preseason games. So I don't anticipate him even playing in the last one next week, just because I don't see the point anymore, because he's been that dominant.
Okay, if you had to plant your flag on it right now, over who has more receiving yards this season, Tim Patrick or Isaac TeSlaa?
Isaac TeSlaa.
And you're basically, would you take that for every stat, receptions, touchdowns, all that, basically?
Yeah. I'd be pretty shocked at this point if they were adamant about Tim Patrick playing.
And I think
I get it. They brought him back,
yes.
but we're trying to win. We're trying to win a Super Bowl here. You got to play the best player. And look, Tim Patrick was reliable last season, but it's not like he had these incredible stats.
Mm-hmm.
He was fine. He was good. He was solid. He was reliable.
We still had games out there where Allen Robinson came out and played and stuff too. So Tim Patrick isn't an every down guy.
No,
I think he's mainly going to be a third down player, which I think is fine. I think that's a good role for him. But I'm really excited to see TeSlaa on these early down packages.
And
hopefully.
TeSlaa is also someone you can utilize in special teams too.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be a returner, but he'll be on the field during special teams all the time. And if that's if you're asking me who out snaps who, I think it's TeSlaa for sure for Tim Patrick's spot.
Oh yeah, as far as for special teams, most definitely.
Well, combined.
Oh right.
That's, I don't know. I take that in consideration, especially considering who deserves roster spots and who doesn't. Obviously, neither of those guys are competing for roster spots. It's not like you have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
But in terms of who's getting more reps, if TeSlaa's the guy and you see more upside in him, why wait? Just throw him into the fire.
Yeah, because I think we all agreed that by halfway through the season or Thanksgiving, we were on board that TeSlaa will be worked into this offense later in the year. But now it's become he might be worked into this offense the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that mindset has completely shifted. So I think we were all in agreement that at some point it was going to happen. But now, as far as when is that going to happen, I don't even know if that's the case anymore. It's how much is it going to happen, because it's going to happen right away.
989-837-6125. Logan said in the chat it's because he was a Razorback. Hashtag SEC.
Yeah.
It's crazy how underutilized he was in college. He barely put up any numbers. That's part of the reason when the Lions drafted him, it was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it wasn't even the fact that they drafted a
receiver 2 or
receiver.
3?
Yeah, it was just you look at his. I mean, obviously you're going to look at his numbers first, because you don't just have his tape ready to go, and you're like, man, this they just didn't even throw to him very much.
The best thing we could say about TeSlaa the day he got drafted was, well, he's 6'4" and runs a 4.43, so he's got that going for him.
He shows it on the field too, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
huge but a crazy athlete.
When he has the ball in his hands, definitely. I would say this with confidence right now. Right now, has better yak ability than a Tim Patrick, who doesn't have bad athleticism, but he's not breaking tackles after the catch and getting away from anyone.
I don't think that's a hot take by any means.
No, it's TeSlaa's if he gets the ball, it's kind of what's going to happen, because he's so big that he's one of these guys that some of these DBs just can't really tackle him if he puts a stiff arm into somebody, and he's fast enough to get away from a lot of these linebackers. So I'm very intrigued on how the Lions can even play him this year, because he has a skill set that nobody else on the team really has. With Amon-Ra just kind of being a possession catch guy. I mean, Amon-Ra does a million things after the catch too, so maybe that was a little unfair. But he's the true jump ball go get guy. Just throw it up and he's going to go moss somebody. And we saw an example of that this weekend where they throw it to Kyle Allen, throws it to the back corner of the end zone. It was more early, short, shallow corner of the end zone. He just walls off his receiver and makes it look really easy to go up and track a ball down.
Yeah, and they just don't have that guy. They haven't had that guy.
No, they haven't had that guy in a long time, honestly.
Not since, like, Kenny Galladay, honestly.
Whose numbers are completely inflated by Matthew Stafford just
right, but like he
balls.
was that type of receiver though. Like
right.
When he did play, like that good year he had, it was because he was a really good go up and get it guy.
I think they tried to get that guy back when they brought in Marvin Jones on the 1-year deal, but that did not work out whatsoever. And now they have their guy in Isaac TeSlaa, who's like bigger and faster than both of those guys that we just mentioned. So this has now become a fascinating situation where I'm very curious to see how they can work him into the offense. Really from week one, from the jump. 989-837-6125. This Detroit Tigers team, the rotation, the bullpen, well, usually it wouldn't be a question. What do you trust more, the rotation or the bullpen? Because this bullpen's been bad all season long, and the starting rotation has been the team's strength. But look at the rotation and where it's at right now, and it's really only one guy you fully trust, and that would be Tarik Skubal, obviously. And the bullpen, there's two guys at the back end that you feel really confident in right now. So who do you trust more, the rotation or the bullpen? 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We'll get to it next when we come back here on 100.9 The Mitt. Hey, you can explore the Great Lakes shipwrecks and dive into adventure with Dive and Glide. Sign up for open water dive courses at diveandglideinc.com. Learn the skills, practice, and get certified. Whether you're a beginner or brushing up on your skills, they've got the classes to get you underwater with confidence. If you're already a pro, shop the best state-of-the-art gear online. Fins, regulators, masks, gauges, and more. Visit diveandglideinc.com and gear up for your next underwater adventure. That's diveandglideinc.com, Michigan's home for all things scuba.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
The Loons on the road in Appleton, Wisconsin, took 4 of 6 off the Timber Rattlers, a series win, and now a half game back of a playoff spot. Kendall George had quite a week, 14 stolen bases, setting a new franchise record for most steals in a single series in Loons history, and he also got it done at the plate, including on Sunday where he drove in 2 in a 5-3 win, including a ribby triple as Flores with a 1-0 pitch. George swings, fluttering into left center field, and that is down for a hit. Rodriguez will hit third, he will score. George hits second, throw cut off by Mate, throw to third is wide, hits off the Loons dugout, bounces into the dugout, so George will come home. Great Lakes takes 2 here in the 8th. It's 5-3. Loons continue the road trip against Quad Cities. We talk to you from Davenport, Iowa on Tuesday, 7:30 first pitch.
Against sports leader.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, the Tigers' rotation, it's a little bit shakier right now than I think it has been at any point this season. And part of that is you lose out on Jackson Jobe, you lose out on Reese Olson, and you replace them with lesser players. Chris Paddack being the number one example of that. I think Chris Paddack needs to be out of the rotation as soon as possible, whether that's Troy Melton or Kiter Montero or Bullpen or Sawyer Gibson-Long or some combination of that. I'm just all set on watching Chris Paddack every 5 days because it feels like with all the home runs that he gives up, it's just going to become a very infuriating situation, similar to the way that Kenta Maeda became a very infuriating situation. Because at the end of the day, if you're a fan of this team, you just can't watch a guy give up a bazillion bombs on a start-to-start basis. And that kind of feels like what you're getting right now with Chris Paddack. So I think the Tigers should look elsewhere with that. With the Jack Flaherty thing, I mean, he's 6-12 in pitching record, starting pitching record. It is what it is. It's not a perfect stat by any means. It doesn't tell the full story, but I think that kind of does tell you exactly what you're getting from Jack Flaherty. When he starts, it just feels unlikely that the Tigers are going to win the game. That's what the season has told us about Jack Flaherty. It's he's another one of these guys that gives up a lot of long balls, and when that's the case, they're really reliant on the Tigers' offense to come through, and that's not something you necessarily want to be reliable on throughout the course of the season. Like, you don't know what you're getting on a day-to-day basis from this Tigers offense. It's a little up in the air. It's a little shaky. And when Flaherty's on the mound, it just kind of feels like, all right, offense, you're going to have to put up 5 or 6 runs today in order to even give the Tigers a chance to win this thing. You're at minimum going to have to score 3 or 4. So I'm looking at this bullpen right now, and I know we've bashed them basically all season long, and I don't think that's a great bullpen by any means. I mean, they rank 17th in bullpen ERA, but these guys on the back end, since July 31st deadline, have been not like lights out between Finnegan and Vest, a 1.26 ERA, 6 for 6 in save opportunities. These guys have been fantastic since the deadline, since they have brought in Finnegan. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say that the bullpen is outperforming the rotation, but it feels like we're kind of trending towards that way because outside of Tarik Skubal, there's not a lot of starters that you're just like, yes, this guy's on the mound today.
Right.
Maybe Casey Mize, but that's another guy where it's like, you know in the first inning or not what version of him you're getting, or at least by the second, because sometimes he spirals and gives up the long ball and is walking a bunch of guys, and sometimes he gets 10 strikeouts. Like, it's just a matter of trusting these guys on a start-to-start basis, which it's really hard to with any of these guys in the rotation right now.
Yeah, the tough part with Mize, as far as, because I would say, I mean, we would probably both agree he's the guy you trust at least second most, right? I think that you can at least give him that title.
Sure.
Not saying you trust him a lot, but you at least trust him more than the other guys. I think that's fair.
Sure.
But the tough part with Mize is that he's pretty consistently now been the guy that's, you can't really get him past 5. He's kind of doing the Flaherty thing over the last month or so, where even if he does have the first couple good innings, once you get him in the 5th, 6th inning, things just really start to get rough. And like you said, when it's not those days, it's the 1st and 2nd inning, he's 50 pitches in after 2, you know? So that's been the issue with Mize. I do think, though, like one of his better starts, I know he gives up 4 earned on Saturday against Minnesota, but, man, the swing and miss stuff was on a roll. 10 strikeouts, like you said, on Saturday. But I think it's kind of funny because you can compare this to last year where the Tigers were Tarik Skubal and everybody else because of injury, right? They actually only had 1 or 2 other starting pitchers, like real starting pitchers. They weren't Tarik Skubal and everybody else because everyone else was bad. It was just because of the situation they were in.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of are in the same situation right now for a completely different reason. It is Tarik Skubal versus everyone, and then, or not versus, I keep saying that, Tarik Skubal and everyone else. And when everyone else goes out to pitch, you're just crossing your fingers. You're like, can we just get 2 good starts out of the rest of these 4 guys? Can we even get 1? Like, even in this series this week against Houston, you feel good about Tarik Skubal on Tuesday. Can we just get 1 of Flaherty or Charlie Morton on games 1 and 3 to have a good outing so that they can win the series? That hopefulness is how it was last year, but it was with the bullpen. Can these guys that we don't even know what their names are continue to pitch well? So that's been the weird part about this starting rotation this season compared to last year, because it's not too much different. It's just a completely different situation.
So are you ready to say that the bullpen is past the starting rotation or not quite yet? Because
No.
I still don't think I can do that as long as Rafael Montero still steps onto the field. It's, it's probably still going to lean in favor of the rotation.
Got to give Montero credit for how he pitched in that high-leverage situation last week.
Sure.
Because it was, we're going to dog on him. We have to at least give him a plus when he does good.
Correct.
But no, I'm not ready to say that the bullpen I trust more. Like, not really even close, honestly, I would say. Just because the two guys you do trust are back-end guys. Maybe Vest will come in the end of the seventh inning when there's 1 or 2 outs. But, what happens when this starting rotation goes 5? Like we said, we don't trust a lot of these guys to go more than 5 innings. Who's pitching the 6th and 7th inning?
Troy Melton, Sawyer Gibson-Long. Oh, wait. Not on the team.
And
Hanafy's back, though.
And Melton is just Melton shouldn't be used in that situation. Melton should be saved 4 days when the blow-ups start happening, because one every 5 days there's going to be one. I think that's with this rotation looking. So maybe that is the case that the bullpen you trust more, because if you're getting one blow-up start every time the rotation runs through, that's not a good thing.
No.
Obviously that's not a good thing, but that shouldn't be that happening that frequently. So Melton should be saved for those days. So to me, there's still just so much question marks as far as who's going to be on this team come playoff time in the bullpen. I think for that reason specifically, I can't pick them, because also in the playoffs, the bullpen guys are going to be pitching more than the starters are anyways.
Well, is it not kind of in question who's going to be in the rotation come playoff time too? There's still a question mark of, is Alex Cobb coming back? There's still a question mark of, is Reese Olson coming back? If both of those things happen, who are the 4 guys? It's Scooble. I think some people are kind of just writing in Flaherty. I don't know if that's
I'm writing
true.
in Flaherty. I think
Really?
I think Scooble, Mize, Flaherty are for sure the 3 starters, and then the 4th guy is going to be one of Morton, Melton, or Paddack.
Honestly, Kyle, I would rather have, if I'm coming up with the 4-person rotation and assuming let's just say Reese Olson's healthy.
Well, okay, then that's obviously different.
I think I'd go Scooble, Olson,
Mize.
Honestly, Troy Melton has been very impressive. And honestly, I don't think it's all that crazy to say Morton over Flaherty. Again, they just don't win when Flaherty's out there.
Right, but then it's okay, is Flaherty on the playoff roster? Obviously he is. So I think that at that point it's...
Why is it obvious?
You don't think he would make the playoff roster?
I'm not saying, I don't think he'd be in the playoff roster, but I don't think it's a lock. He has not pitched all that well this season.
No, I know.
They don't win when he pitches.
I agree. Like I said, they're 7-17 in his 24 starts this season.
At what point do you have to look at the pitching record and it's you just don't win when he goes? I know it doesn't tell the whole story, but
it does tell a story. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And if Olson comes back, that changes things. But as far as we can still map out the starting rotation for the playoffs much easier than we can the bullpen, because the reason that you're saying we don't know the starting rotation is because are certain guys going to be healthy. For the bullpen, it's who's going to be pitching good the week before the playoff starts.
Right.
Because they just change things up so much as far as who's up, who's down. That is really hard to map out. So I can't really pick the bullpen based off, because I don't even know who's going to be there come playoff time.
It's totally fair. I think there's question marks with both, though.
For sure.
And even if Olson isn't, let's say Olson's out, I think I'd still rather have Morton than Flaherty right now.
Dude, I might be with you on this. I think I love Charlie Morton.
I like Charlie Morton for a 4th or 5th guy.
It sounds really dumb because obviously, in that start against Los Angeles a while back, gave up 6 runs but had the 10 Ks out of the 12 outs. His stuff is good, dude. He is not the typical 41. I think he's 42 actually. He is not the typical 42-year-old stuff. It's the first 10 years of his career, he was throwing 92-mile-an-hour fastballs, just trying to force ground balls. And then all of a sudden when he's 30, let me just pump up my velocity 5 to 6 miles per hour.
Right, that doesn't happen.
No, and so his career has kind of been, that's why he's lasted so long, because he didn't start off throwing this high-pumping velocity. So I kind of like Morton a good amount. And I know that he does get rocked, but his swing and miss stuff is really, when it's on, it's on.
You think it's better than Flaherty's swing and miss stuff?
This season, yes. Yeah, Flaherty's command, though, it's been really, really tough this season.
I don't think he's a lock to make the playoff roster.
I would be really shocked if he wasn't on the playoff roster.
What if he was making $10 million rather than $25?
But it's
is
just
it
like
a lot easier of a decision to make.
I get yes, it is, but also, who are you replacing him with? Like, it's not like we have these guys in the bullpen where it's like, yeah, we only need to carry 3 or 4 starters so we can have all these bullpen guys.
But why can't Flaherty just be in the pen? Like,
well, then he's still on the playoff roster. That's
okay, sure. Then he's in the playoff roster, but he's not one of the 4 starters.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility for sure. That's kind of where I was leaning.
I think that's a likely scenario, honestly.
Depending on the availability of Reese Olson, I would agree.
989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Near, on the wall, whose house is the nicest on the block of the mall?
Not yours.
What do you mean?
Your siding is faded, your gutters are falling off, and you have shingles missing. I suggest you call Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
I'm going to call Bresky Siding and Building Repair right now. Near, on the wall, now whose house is the nicest of them all?
Yours is, kind sir, yours is.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and
Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
989-837-6125. Kyle, hit us with the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Okie dokie, Ben. Let's hop back into the news that we missed from earlier.
All right.
Starting off. Sorry, I'm back. Starting off, the Dodgers have actually gotten hot here after their bit of a cold streak they had last week with the Angels getting swept. They sweep the Padres this weekend in what was a really big series as far as top of the National League West goes. So they've retaken the lead there. They hold a 2-game lead over the Padres, now 18 games back above 500.
Boom!
So good for them.
Are they your World Series pick right now? They are mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have one, honestly.
They're in Colorado tonight with Yamamoto on the mounds. Ace pitcher on the mounds, but because Colorado is the dumbest place to play baseball, over-under's 11. Arcade ball, man, it's not real.
Yeah,
Nothing that happens in Coors Field is real. It's not real baseball. It's moon ball.
It's bad stuff. So we'll see what happens there as far as runs scored, because we saw that record that Toronto had up against them a couple weeks ago. See if they can touch it. Let's talk about a little bit of minor league action with the Seattle Mariners. Victor Robles, who's been on a assignment with them with AAA Tacoma in Seattle. I don't know if you saw this. He got ejected from their game last night, Ben, because he threw a bat at the pitcher after he got hit by a pitch. On a rehab assignment, got hit up and in near the neck area. Took a second to readjust himself and then chucked his bat at the pitcher. Got ejected and then took the bucket of sunflower seeds, threw them out onto the field. It was a big scene, but kind of at least the reasoning why he crashed out, you could say. 5th time being hit in just 15 at-bats in AAA. It was his 4th time being hit in 4 games. Like, he's just down there for a rehab assignment trying to get back to the majors, and it's just getting plunked. So, I mean, I would be upset as well. Maybe not to throw the bat at the pitcher, though.
I got clickbaited into this so bad, though, because I went to bed last night with that Sunday night baseball game in the 8th inning, and I woke up to a notification that Seattle player charges mound. I was like, did I miss someone charge the mound? Then I opened it up as a minor league game. All right, you know what you did there by sending out that headline. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You got me to click on it. Good job.
Good stuff there. All right, college football news. We have another starting quarterback being named. It's at Tennessee. They named Joey Aguilar their starting quarterback. And I mainly just wanted to throw this out there because it's that funny situation where Aguilar was going to be the UCLA quarterback this year until Nico had that whole situation with Tennessee. He went to UCLA to take his job, so Aguilar said, well, there's an open job in Tennessee. I'm going to go there. So they basically did a trade for starting quarterbacks now that Joey Aguilar's been named the starter. Even though he had never played for UCLA, he transferred from Appalachian State to UCLA in December and then was there for a couple months and then ended up going to Tennessee after all that weird stuff happened with Nico.
This should not be allowed.
Yeah.
You cannot be allowed to transfer twice in one offseason.
Yeah, it's that I mean, yeah, I would probably agree with you on that one.
It's out of hand how ridiculous we've look, the players should be empowered, but I feel like now it's flipped to a point where these players have too much power, which sounds ridiculous for me to say. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but come on, man, the portal's just being overused. Stick it out somewhere.
But I also kind of get Joey Aguilar leaving, though, right? I mean, he went there to be the starter, and then out of nowhere, after you were going to be told you're going to be the starter, they're just bringing in this other guy. And then there's an open job in Tennessee.
I get being upset.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
But that's just like Nico also shouldn't have been able to just get up and leave because they weren't paying him.
Right, because he wasn't being paid. Yeah, exactly. That's the bad part about it, yeah. We had a trade in the NFL last night. Whoa. Not that big a one, but figured I would throw it out there. Eagles trade for former Alabama and former Texans wide receiver John Mechie III in exchange for Harrison Bryant, a tight end, and a 5th-round pick. Cool stuff.
Good stuff, Kyle.
John Mechie with obviously the great story. Had leukemia as a rookie in the NFL, fought through that, and then obviously has worked his way back out onto the field. So great story there. Now he's going to be in an Eagles jersey. Same division, Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors has a minor back issue. He has not practiced in 11 days, and that's going to continue. They say he should probably be good to go by the start of the regular season, but still not practicing for quite a while for the second-year receiver. More news, wide receiver news. The Cleveland Browns have officially signed rookie wide receiver Isaiah Bond to a 3-year, $3.018 fully guaranteed contract, $1 million that is. Obviously, a lot of news with Isaiah Bond. Went undrafted because of the sexual assault charges against him. Those were to be found. I don't know if they were dropped or he would be found innocent. Either way, last week, late in the evening, that happened. And immediately after that happened Friday, the Browns went out, scooped him, picked him up. So they just add another guy with some off-the-field issues to their roster that's full of players with it.
Well, we've got their second-round pick, Judkins.
Still unsigned, by the way.
Still unsigned. We've got Bond. We've got the quarterback.
The guy, yeah, the face of it all.
Golly, man.
Shadur Sanders, which it doesn't have off-the-field problems, but it's just a headline over there.
Nah,
you know?
Don't throw him in with those guys.
I'm not, but
it's just a clown show of an organization.
It really is.
Both the teams in Ohio just have no idea what they're doing.
Must be something to say about the state of Ohio there.
Yes.
We got a positive news for the Tigers, I guess you could say. Detroit are once again the favorites in the American League after a couple days late last week where Seattle had overtaken them. Tigers plus 370, favorites to win the American League. Toronto right behind them at plus 380, with Seattle falling back to third at plus 430.
I didn't mention this, but with Seattle getting thumped on national TV, buy some Seattle stock just because fresh off a loss on national television.
True, they've lost 2 games in a row now, too.
Would have done that if we had more time.
You still can. I mean, we're still doing the show right now.
I'm buying Seattle Mariners stock.
Good. Been high on the Mariners all season, so that makes sense. Last thing on the news, we'll just once again reiterate, we got football tonight. Bengals Commanders Monday Night Football at 8 o'clock. You going to be tapped into this?
No, probably not. Maybe. I don't know. The Tigers will be on, so probably not. But maybe go see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase do one drive, score a touchdown, and then pop back into the Tigers game. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch this. Pretty simple. Probably not even a second of it. I do get some quick news here that's happened during the show. The Colts are signing a 4-time Pro Bowl cornerback, Xavier Howard. So Xavier Howard, who obviously has fallen off a little bit. He didn't play. I don't think he played at all last year, I'm pretty sure. Is back into the NFL with the Colts. So good for him. And then one more final thing. Auburn is going to retire Cam Newton's number 2 jersey. That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Still one of the most, I was really little when that happened, but arguably the most fun, impressive, put the team on the back college football season by a quarterback ever.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't really little, right? Probably 9 years old, 10 years old.
That's pretty little.
Yeah, it is. I kind of remember it though.
That was one of the first.
Yeah, I remember Cam Newton at Auburn.
I remember the lore of Tim Tebow, but I don't think I actually have memories of watching his games. I know I'm aging myself here. I remember watching Cam Newton. This guy's unbelievable.
True.
This guy can't be stopped.
But I do remember at recess hitting the Tebow though.
Oh yeah.
I remember doing the Tebow. You know. A lot. You know.
Yeah, no, I remember that too. Nothing like some good old recess football.
Yeah.
But I do think Cam Newton, for the guy, my college football career, or watching career, my career, is probably number 1 in terms of oh my God. I can't believe this guy's unstoppable.
I did feel that way about RG3 too. Just loved watching RG3. But yeah, as far as the way that Cam Newton played, yeah, I mean, he, like you said,
a beast.
He just couldn't stop him. Yeah.
989-837-6125. We've got 2 traditions to close out every show. You know exactly what they are. We're going to hit them when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid at Aaron Garcia, or at Aaron Insurance. They understand not everyone's insurance needs are the same. They want to work personally with you to create something best suited for your needs. Life, home, auto, physical insurance. It's all available with Aird Farm Bureau Insurance. They've got over 100 years of combined experience. They know exactly how to put you in the best position possible. The experience matters. That's why Aird Farm Bureau Insurance is the way to go. Our 2 traditions. When we come back, it's the Ben Bosscher Show on a Monday, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, two traditions to close out every show. The first of those being our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, Kyle, you filled in on Friday. Tell me how it went.
Well, in terms of lock of the day, it did not go well, if that's how you're asking. In general, sure, it went fine, but lock of the day didn't go well, man. I feel bad because you were on a 3-game dub streak, and I just kind of ruined the momentum of that. My pick was Charlie Morton over 5.5 Ks. Thought it looked fine. He got 5 of them. Brad decided to tail that. That did not hit. And then Brad also decided to give us his lock of the day, which was Lions money line over the Dolphins on Saturday. And that clearly did not hit. So me and Brad went 0 for 3 on the lock of the day segment on Friday. We're not going to count that towards your all-time picks thing because that would feel wrong.
I was about to say, if it would have hit, though, I think we would have had to.
Sure, yeah.
It was like a win-win scenario for me.
Yeah, so we'll keep your win streak alive right now, but a quick update, even though this is technically still the same as Thursday. You are 16.28 units down all time. You did go up on the week last week, so you're 4-7 all time as far as up or down on the weeks through the 11 weeks of the show. 16-34-1 all time record, and you are currently on a 3-day win streak, which is tied for your longest win streak ever. So you can break that today.
I love that. I love that. All right, so if that's going to be the case, I'm going to jump back in and hit some plus sides. You always told me that you got to win 3 in a row before you start to get aggressive. I'm not getting aggressive here, but I am finding something with plus odds. And I was looking at that Pirates game for a long time today because you got one of the hottest teams in baseball in the Blue Jays taking on Paul Skeens and the Pirates. Paul Skeens coming off an outing where he got torched by this Brewers team. And I was trying to find a way, okay, does Paul Skeens bounce back? And anything I was trying to find, like, all right, what about strikeouts? Terrible odds. What about outs? Terrible odds. What about anything I could find? Terrible odds. And then I looked into some Tiger stuff, like, hey, we got a righty on the mound for Houston tonight. Riley Green, 2 bases. Terrible odds. Just all this stuff, such bad odds. But I finally came across one that I liked. All right, with Paul Skeens on the mound, looking to have a bounce back. I'm not taking the strikeouts for minus 162. No, it's not what we're doing. I am taking no one to score 5 runs today. We need a great outing from Paul Skeens. We don't even need a great. We just need a good outing from Paul Skeens. And we need this crappy Pirates offense to be themselves, be crappy. It's first team to 5, race to 5 runs, and you just have to hit that neither option. Kyle, what were the odds on it?
Plus 114.
Plus 114 for no team to score 5 runs in the Blue Jays versus Pirates game. Paul Skeens, do your thing. Pirates offense, do your thing. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and suddenly we should be in contention here. And this isn't over-under less than 5. This is neither team to actually score 5 runs. I think the reason that this has plus odds is because, hey, Paul Skeens gets taken out of the game. It's one of the hottest teams in baseball. This team doesn't strike out very often, which is another reason I didn't want to do Paul Skeens strikeouts. The Blue Jays put together really good at-bats consistently. Well, if Paul Skeens can just mow down the lineup, even if he doesn't mow them down, just limit the runs that are put up on the board, and I think we're going to be in good shape here. I love the value of this one.
Yeah, I actually kind of really like this bet. Because the over-under is 7 for this game. So you're like essentially taking the under on a run line that is, 2 higher than that technically?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 4-3, it would have to be the final score, I guess, for this to actually make sense. So I guess the 7 does come into play. But yeah, I think this is I like this. You're getting creative here. I think I'm going to tail, which is risky to do because you've hit 3 days in a row, and you've done that a few times now, but you have yet to get over that hump. But I'm going to do it. I've been on an absolute cold streak on the Taylor fade lately. I've missed 6 in a row now. So it's time for me to get back into it, and I'm gonna tail it today.
So this game also starts at 6:40. So I maybe got to go the dual monitors today, dual TVs. Watching Paul Skeens hopefully shut down this Blue Jays team. Watching the Pirates offense stink it up. watching the Tigers light up the Astros. That's the goal tonight. So, again, it's neither team to score 5 runs. Race to 5, neither being the option. Plus 114, try to get us back in the win column. How many units did you say we're down all time?
16.28.
Hey, we're slowly making our way back.
Right.
Okay. We just got to get. I'm going to say by the end of September, we're back because we're going to hit some good football ones of like plus 550. Some nice value touchdown bets. You know, this guy to score in the end zone. Boom, just like that. 1/3 of the way back. I'm excited for football season. I've already got one for Thursday Night Football, week 1. I've already got it.
Actually?
Yes. Well, I guess I don't know what the exact bet is going to be, but I know the concept of the bet.
That's kind of sicko behavior.
I know, but hey, Dallas, one of the worst run defenses in the league, going up against the reigning defending offensive player of the year. I'm just saying. All right, that is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
989-837-6125. Everybody wants to know, what is Colin Cowherd going to open with? All right. Since I basically did the double standard of if you got it right, it was going to count towards me for the lock of the day. If you got it wrong, it wasn't. Did you get a point on Friday? Because even if you did get a point, I'll just count it. Even though I wasn't here, I couldn't have gotten a point.
Right?
Did you get a point?
No, you did get a point, Ben, because Brad was you. We decided that on the show.
Oh, that doesn't seem fair.
Because we didn't know if I should count as you because I was in your spot. But then again, like it would have been weird if I wasn't just me. So we let Brad count as Ben, and we got a point, or like Brad got a point for you because it was the Michigan stuff. Doug Gottlieb was filling in. It took him like 5 minutes to stop talking about some random stuff, but once he did, it was the Michigan stuff. So he got a point.
I'm content with not taking a point there. That feels unfair.
Hey, I already added to the scoreboard though, but I will take it off right now.
Yeah, take it off. I feel bad doing the double standard for both the lock of the day and this. So take that off. I didn't guess it.
Well, it's 12-7 then. It would have been 13-7. But shout out to Brad for hitting the guessing Collins Open. It was a pretty easy one to get, I would say, based on what had happened Friday.
Did he have first pick?
Yes, he had first pick, and it was like breaking news that the Michigan stuff had come out. So it was pretty obvious pick there for any show that was starting at noon.
All right, who's going first today then?
Today I'm going first because it is episode like 54, I think. It's an even either way. So I'm going first today. I think I have a good pick today. I've been kind of this is one of the few times where I actually was thinking about it. There wasn't a ton of stuff over the weekend, like crazy headline stuff to lead with, I don't think. So it's not like this is easy. I don't think this is an auto point or anything. The Scotty Scheffler stuff is in play. I think he has led with Scotty after the British Open. I don't think he's actually going to. I'm just kind of going through options here. But look, Caleb Williams started last night for the Bears, and he talked about Caleb Williams when he wasn't even playing. So the fact that he actually did play last night, now he played pretty good. So I think if he would have played poor, this would have been an easier lead for him. But I think we get a Monday morning Caleb Williams lead because he played like on Sunday Night Football last night and looked pretty good. So that's going to be my pick.
I think you're going to nail this because what?
It feels right.
The last 2 weeks, 10 shows, he's probably led with
Caleb. At least 4 times, yeah. Twice a week.
If not more.
Yeah.
Like he's not afraid to do it back-to-back days.
And now he like actually has a real reason to other than just like practice footage.
I'll flip the script. I'll do what the game is tonight and do Bengals and how they're playing their starters.
Okay.
And how Trey Hendrickson's still not going to be on the team. Bad team. Bad. I feel way more confident in your pick today.
I do too. But also, like, what are even the other options if he doesn't?
Shador?
Yeah, but he didn't play this weekend.
Oh, that does
what
not
about
matter.
the Dylan Gabriel stuff with Shador about the
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
the headliners versus whatever Dylan Gabriel said.
It all comes back to Shador Sanders. It always does.
I think he's led with Caleb more than Shador though. It's close. Those
close.
guys are top 2, and then LeBron is like, well, don't forget about me. Cooper Flag up there too. I really got to start keeping track of these just to all time see what it is because I think that would be fun. Get bored one day, I might do it.
All right. Well, that's basically going to do it for us today. We're going to be back tomorrow. Kyle, I appreciate you filling in on Friday. You did a good job.
For sure.
So we will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m., as always. there's some rumors going on with a certain Lions player getting an extension. I don't know if you've heard this. No official reports or anything, but sometimes the rumor mill starts on the good old X app, and then it just kind of never goes away, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, is this real? Is this not real? I don't really know. Certain Lions player extension kind of being thrown around a lot right now on that app.
Hopefully it happens tonight.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. Give us a little topic tomorrow.
Hey,
we have football, really soon.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Like real football on Saturday.
Real football Saturday.
Not preseason. Real college football.
Whew.
Overseas.
Like a real game even.
A ranked matchup.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. Do you have any special plans for Saturday, week 0?
Not
is it
really.
Just wake up 9 o'clock, boom, throw on game day?
I think that's kind of just the play, yeah. It's just got to soak it all in.
Well, I would ask you to go golfing prior to that, but you sold all your going golfing stock earlier
No,
today.
I said this upcoming weekend is the last weekend you can.
Well, maybe we have to.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you haven't already on YouTube, we'd appreciate it more than you know. We will be back tomorrow, so tune back in, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repairs.